Franklin County Board of County Commissioners now in session for this regular meeting Wednesday, September 3rd. Let's go ahead and get started with the meeting this morning. Commissioner Croom, can you lead us in prayer and pledge, please?
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for putting us in the position that we are in to help serve and lead this great county. We ask you for continual protection and guidance in everything we do, while keeping you first. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Brown, are there any amendments to the agenda?
No amendments, sir. I will note that Aaron's report was a little late yesterday, but we got it up on time when we
Okay.
did the final upload of the agenda.
All right.
Commissioner, Mr. Chairman, I did have one late addition to my report. I did get a response back from the potential additional opioid settlement agreement late yesterday afternoon from the administrator. So I would like for the board to allow me to bring that up to this board action, just to authorize me to vet this potential agreement and bring it back to you at the next meeting.
Okay. All right, so I would entertain a motion to amend the agenda
So moved.
to add this. So we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Amison, second by Commissioner Sanders. Any discussion?
Again, which one?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous.
It's this one again.
All right, up next, we're paying the county bills.
So move.
We have a motion to approve by
Second.
Commissioner Ward, second by Commissioner Amison. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. All right. Up next, Mr. John Sullivan. Presentation.
Morning, Commissioners. Miss Cindy could not be here today. She's out of town, and Miss Tana, I know she had something that she was hoping she could get away from this morning and couldn't be here from Tide Marketing, part of the TDC team.
Over here.
Royce is, sorry, y'all, my eyes are not doing good this week. But I wanted to come here before y'all because for the 6th year in a row, the Franklin County TDC has won a Flagler Award. Again, those don't grow on trees. Those are hard to win. They're marketing awards from the state of Florida, the largest marketing state in the United States. So it's a big deal. But this year we get to bring home the Henry Award for our mobile app, Reimagined. Years ago, we won it before for when we designed the mobile app, and we redid it this past year and won again and beat some very big counties and industry and marketing out there to win this award, which is a very big deal. Again, flaggers don't grow on trees. These don't grow on vines or in the ground either. These are never just handed. There's only 16 of these in the state every year. So Franklin County is proud to be able to bring one home to us and just prove the marketing that we do actually resonates throughout the state. So thank y'all for letting us do the job we do. We have a great team that does this, and I know Royce, and I was going to let anybody else that came wanted to speak, but I know Royce wanted to say some words as well, if y'all don't mind. But I just wanted to say congratulations to the team, which y'all are part of. So wanted to bring this before y'all to show off to everyone.
Thank you, John.
I want to thank you guys for allowing us to do what we do. And actually, the words that I want to say, actually, I didn't write. It was when we made the post about winning this, I'm actually going to quote someone who actually does receive TDC funds through a nonprofit that they are a part of here in Franklin County. And I'm going to quote exactly what they said. In a state as big and hot as Florida, you don't win these kinds of awards unless you earn them. You're competing with 67 Florida counties, 35 of them coastal, 10 of those heavily populated, and Franklin County with a population of under 13,000, lowest in the state, and our TDC is walking away with the bling, the Henry. Someone is doing something right. Congrats to Franklin County community and the TDC and the leadership of both. You all rock. So again, thank you guys for allowing us to do what we do and be able to bring these kinds of awards home to Franklin County.
Thank you, Royce.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Commissioners, I want to take a minute to kind of tell you a story that none of you actually were involved in. Because when we won the first one for the mobile app, it was during August of 2020. So you hadn't been elected yet. You were running. You weren't here, and neither one of you were here. So I'm the only one that was here at that time. And it's something we haven't really talked about before. But when we first had the idea of doing an app, it's really the result of me sitting at home with COVID for the first time. Bored out of my mind. And I called John and said, John, we're going to make a mobile app. He said, okay, yep, we are. I mean, if you know John, that's kind of like, and then he come back to me and said, boss, they want $40,000 to do this app for us. He said, we can't do that. I said, okay, what's our next option? And he come back to me and said, well, they said that they can sell us the shell to build the app ourselves for $8,000, but they he said, you could tell they were smiling as they were talking to me on the phone because they're like, you'll never do that. You'll have to come back to us and spend the $40,000. But we built the app and we kind of reversed roles for a little while because, again, I was sitting at home with COVID. John would send me something. I said, nope, don't like that color, don't like that font, change it. You know, let's do it this way, do it that way. And it was interactive between both of us. It was back and forth. But anyway, we did it, and it won the highest trophy you could win that next year in the state of Florida. And that's the one like he's holding again today. And I don't know that there have been many repeat winners, but we had to redo the app for other reasons other than just redoing the app. It was a technical issue. So we had to redo the app, resubmitted it, because again, it looks completely different, and it won again. So we must have done something right. And John, you actually built that app yourself. They gave you the shell. Yeah, you was back and forth with me, but I was more of just trying to dictate to you some things about what I thought. But at the end of the day, you did all the work. And I don't think you've ever been acknowledged for that.
I appreciate it.
So it's a big deal. Thank you.
You're the big deal.
It is.
I know when we were building it, I called Ricky. I said, you know, I've built websites before, and that's been a while back, and they give you the whole computer screen to build this thing. When you're building an app, I don't care if you have that screen up there, you're working on a piece that big that you're building that app with. It wasn't, you didn't have the full screen, and of course, we all know my eyesight's wonderful. I'm up in the computer screen. I remember Donna walked in the office one day, and I'm inside the screen, and she goes, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm building this mobile app Ricky wants. She goes, why are you in the screen? And I showed her, she said, why do you have a 19-inch screen and you're blind? Go get a daggum screen so you can see it. And so I went and got a bigger screen. It was still that big. But it was one of those things, it's a labor of love, because it was something that basically the company said, yeah, sure, we'll give you the shell. Good luck. And one of the things that Commissioner Jones knows, that when I built it, it was built with a green background with blue lettering. I could see it well. And when we submitted it to Apple, the company said, oh no, they're not gonna approve this. We want white with black lettering. That's how apps are supposed to look for visually impaired. And I just told the guy straight up, said, listen, brother, the guy that built it is visually impaired. I can see this, I couldn't see the other. And he said, well, we'll submit it anyway and find out. Called me 2 days later, he said, you won't believe this, Apple approved it. That's the first time they've approved a colored screen on an app. And, you know, like I said, when we went down, we had released it the day before the 2020 conference, and everybody there had downloaded it, they were looking at it, and then the next conference was messed up by a hurricane. But Commissioner Jones and myself were there to be able to accept the Henry for it then. And this past year, we had to redesign it because there was a guy in an office downtown Appalachia that designed it, and technology kind of advanced since then. So we had to redo it and make it to what it is now. We were able to add so much more to it with an actual map that you can click from the website onto it and use them with both, that you can plan your trip in Franklin County. You can, star the different things you want to do, and it pulls up on your phone when you open your phone. So we submitted it again this year because it is a complete redesign, and I'll be honest with you, it was shocking because Commissioner Jones said, winning 2 Henrys for something that you did, it's a big deal, real big deal.
Would y'all come forward so we can take some pictures?
All right, everybody say Henry. 1, 2, 3, Henry. 1, 2, 3, Henry. 1, 2, 3, Henry. Thank you.
And Commissioners, one of the things that, how I always feel, building the app and doing the app is one thing. Getting it out where everybody knows we have it and using it, that's another thing. And we have a team that got the word out very fast that this app was updated and done, and the downloads were over, close to 4,000 within the first couple of weeks of re-downloading the new app. And the only way that happens is the marketing that we did to get it out there. So, between our Tide Marketing, Forgotten Coast TV, and Bay Media, you don't win it just because you did it. People have to know and download it and use it for you to actually win the award. So without the whole team, it wouldn't have happened.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to share my own little story. For one, congratulations to you guys. Again, they don't grow on trees. 67 Florida counties. We've been year after year going up to the state and showing out and doing great with those, with your marketing and your team. So congratulations to you and your team. And speaking of the app, I had family come into town this Labor Day weekend, and the one thing that my nephew said was, I went on this app that y'all have, and it talks about all these great museums, so I want to go to all those museums. Well, so we did the tourist thing, went to Camp Gordon Johnston, the John Gordon Museum, Anner, the estuary, and so we just made a weekend of that. So, but it's all based on what he found on your app, because he's been coming here for years, and he didn't realize that we had all those great museums here in our local towns. So that's what we did. It was because of the app that he knew that that's what was available. So congratulations again to you and your team.
Well,
and thank you for a job well done. Well done.
Thank you. I mean, it's one of those things that the new technology was able to do before. Every time something was updated on the website, Tana and Sterling would have to go on and update it. They'd have to call me. I'd have to update it on the app. It was a constant battle. The new app, when they update something, it's completely tied into it. It automatically updates on the app from what they do on the website. So it's made it a lot easier on some of us too, because it's not having to be dual stuff every time. One of the things I wanted to in front of y'all is our new marketing campaign, luring you to Franklin County for great fall fishing. You'll see the lures have our name and Forgotten Coast on them, and actually they do work. I had one of the fishing captains taking pictures for us using the lures, and they're actually pictures that we would have had to pay Royce a lot of money probably to get. They're so good that I didn't have to pay for because he liked the attention. So, but that's our new campaign. If you scan it, it goes to our captain's pages on the TDC website. So give them some promotion for people to come down here and fish with our experienced guide fishermen. But it's just the next step, and hopefully maybe next year I can come up for you and go, hey, guess what? We want a flagler for our fishing campaign. So it all starts again once we win one of these. It starts again on what we do. again, we just appreciate letting us do the job we do because we all enjoy it. It actually is, it's fun, not only to get up on stage to award like Commissioner Jones has been before. I told Royce as we were going up there, I said, I do not believe in the words, act like you've been there, because you may never be there again, so better stand back. So, and if you've all seen the picture, I will celebrate when we win because it's a big deal. And not only I know that Steve said about 67 counties, it's not just counties that enter in these awards, it's any marketing agency, firm, or individual. There's been hotels that has won awards at Visit Florida. This is every tourist-related thing in the state of Florida enters in these awards. And this year was a record number of entries, over 300 entries put into the awards. And we were just blessed to walk away with a Henry.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I would just like to say, John, please extend my congratulations to the team also. They have done an excellent job with you at the head and then working and with the Commissioner Jones and stuff. But I also want to say and recognize the new East Point signs. I like them. They're a little different, but I'm used to the great big old oyster boats sitting up there, you know, oysters. But it's okay. It's a good look for East Point, and you've got them all spaced out. So
Yeah, the
good.
Civic Association designed and planned those out. We're blessed to have a county that we can afford to be able to assist our communities like that and be able to put proper signage up so people know where they're at.
Yeah, I like them. I like the new signs. I noticed them this morning coming over. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
No problem. Anyone else?
Good job.
I will say this, just so the public is aware. So I already stated earlier that when we first did this, it was $8,000 project. It's went up tremendously in the last couple of years. Now it's $8,200 a year. So I just want you to know that even though we're collecting TDC funds, we still treat every dollar like they are their tax dollars. We're doing our best to do right by the citizens and the residents with everything we do. And we keep doing it because we've been able to maintain a good cost. I just want to make sure everyone's aware of that. Thank you, sir.
Thank y'all. Y'all have a wonderful day.
Yep. Mr. Rowan, are we still doing a?
Yep. Ms. Valdez?
Oh, she's online, okay. I didn't know, I was looking across the room and didn't see her, I kind of got. Ms. Valdez, we're up to you.
Good morning. I respectfully request a proclamation recognizing the Early Learning Coalition of Northwest Florida's 20th anniversary and its enduring commitment to the children and families of Franklin County.
Mr. Rowan, do you have that ready or
Actually, the proclamation was part of your,
package?
on your, in your packet.
Okay.
For you to read, sir. I'm sorry about that. I put it in late yesterday.
Okay.
I should have printed I think
It is in the.
It's in there. I found it.
Yeah,
it's in a paper
paper.
packet
Yeah.
too, I believe. If it's easier to read it on paper.
Oh, is it? Okay, yeah,
Yes, sir.
that'd probably be better. Proclamation of recognition, recognizing the 20th anniversary of the Early Learning Coalition of Northwest Florida and celebrating the importance of early learning. Whereas the Early Learning Coalition of Northwest Florida has faithfully served the children and families of our region for 20 years, ensuring access to high-quality early learning opportunities. And whereas the coalition is dedicated to growing healthy children, supporting parents, and strengthening the vital relationships between them. And whereas the early learning provides the foundation for lifelong success by fostering cognitive, social, and emotional development during the most critical years of a child's life. And whereas the coalition recognizes that parents are a child's first and most important teacher. And whereas through partnerships with families, educators, and community leaders, the coalition has promoted school readiness, supported working parents, and helped build a stronger future workforce for Northwest Florida. And whereas the coalition's efforts have empowered thousands of children to enter kindergarten prepared to learn, grow, and thrive. Whereas we honor and commend the unwavering dedication of child care providers whose compassion, resilience, and commitment to early learning continue to shape the lives of countless children and families across our region. And whereas the Franklin County Board of County Commissioners recognizes the transformative impact of early childhood education and the central role the coalition plays in building a stronger, healthier, and more equitable community. Now therefore, I, Ricky Jones, Chairman of the Franklin County Board of County Commissioners, do hereby proclaim September 3rd, 2025 as Early Learning Coalition of Northwest Florida Day, in celebration of its 20th anniversary and in recognition of its enduring commitment to the children and families of Northwest Florida. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of Franklin County to be affixed this 3rd day of September 2025.
That says it all about them.
Pretty comprehensive. Pleasure of the board.
Thank you.
So moved.
All right,
Second.
we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Amison, second by Commissioner Ward. Any discussion, Commissioners? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That is a unanimous vote. Ms. Valdez, thank you for everything that this says. These are great words, but it's been 20 years of work every day, working with kids, getting them ready for this education that's ahead of them in their lifetime. Thank y'all for everything you do for our communities.
Absolutely. We'll be over in Franklin County soon. The Franklin County School pre-K through 12 earned excellent ratings on their state testing last year. So we will be back in Franklin County shortly to celebrate with them.
Good. Commissioners,
So making strides for sure.
yes, ma'am. Anyone else have anything they want to say?
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Ms. Valdez, thank you for being here today, and thank you again for what you guys do for Franklin County families and especially Franklin County children.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
You too. All right, next we're up to public comments. Michael, I only see one that's a general public
Yeah,
comment.
there's one general.
Mr.
and-
Covington?
Yes, and there was one for a specific item on the agenda. I'm sorry, my report.
Please state your name for the record. You have 5 minutes, sir.
Good morning, Commissioners. David Covington, St. George Island. I'm here and in living color today versus being on Zoom calls from Atlanta, so I'm down for 2 weeks. I just had 2 things I wanted to quickly run past you guys. First of all, I wanted to thank you guys for what you do for the county. I see and hear, I'm one of the admins of one of 4 or 5 admins that we have for the 80,000 member Facebook group for St. George Island, which gets rowdy every now and then, usually during high season, but usually chills off during September and October. But we get roughly about 200,000 engagements a month in that Facebook group, and a lot of people are very appreciative of having that. I've got a total of 3 groups. I've got the one main Facebook group that's got 80,000 in it. I've got a vacation rental group that's got about 25,000. And I've got a SGI owners group that has about 1,600 or 1,700, and those are island residents only. Then we vet them against Q Public to make sure that they're on the property tax rolls, and it's a way of increasing communication amongst people who don't actually live here full time. But if you need to have somebody go by and check on a house while they're down here, that's what that's geared towards, to try to bring owners together and increase communication together amongst people. But I wanted to tell you guys, seriously, I was here in February. I was doing a little work. I don't think I actually came over in February. I may have been here in November for the meeting. I had a play trip in November, which was really actually pretty good. I actually got to go out in parts of the county in 21 years of being down here. I actually, called some people and said, hey, where can I go in Franklin County that I've never seen or that I've really never heard about in these Facebook groups? Where can I go to find my little slice outside of being, getting a beach chair and plopping myself down on the beach over there and just sitting there and thinking about stuff. And the one thing that hit me was I thought, I've never gone to the end of the pier on the island side. So I walked out to the end of the pier, sat out on the end of the pier, and just watched cars go back and forth, from the island. It was a nice breeze. I saw a couple of sailboats actually go out through the intercoastal. And I thought to myself, just like 21 years ago when I was sitting down in the plantation at a rental house before I bought my house down here, and I thought, this is heaven. It really is. And it's still today, it is heaven. It's changing, you know, and I know people don't want the growth, and they, you know, we have to figure out ways in which to be able to increase our budgets and, you know, increase what we're doing down here. But, you know, in that regard, I would say we need to have smart managed growth, and I want you guys to keep that in, mind. I went over to the property tax appraiser's office the other day because I wanted to kind of start trying to collect some statistics so I could tell some stories to these owners. And I talked with Casey, and she got me in touch with Aaron Paulk, and I just wanted to tell you these numbers just real quickly. When we're talking about parcel counts in the entire Franklin County, total parcels countywide is 18,890 parcels. Of that, 1,146 are state-owned, 60 are federal-owned, 3,561 parcels on the island alone, and of that, 401 are homesteaded properties. So I say that in regards to looking at what our budget is, and I haven't really looked at this year's, what we're talking about for this year, you know, next year's budget, but looking at this year's, which is relatively the same, because I did look at it just briefly this morning before I came over here. But if we've got a $112 million budget, and we've got $23 million coming in ad valorem, and this is really important for the public to understand, is basically that every year we have to beg, borrow, and steal for 90-something million dollars. So my question is what happens if, you know, the state and the feds own, and they're not paying any ad valorem tax to us, okay? So what happens if some of those big grants that we're anticipating every year, what happens if those don't come through? Where are we going to come up with the money? I just want you guys to be thinking about that. I'm working on trying to figure out how, you know, what's going to happen in that regards. And, you know, what does the county commission feel about, or have they talked to Senator Simon and Senator Shove in regards to the state potentially wanting to sell off some of their property so that, you know, we can have other people buy it so that we can start collecting some more ad valorem tax on those parcels that are not creating any revenue right now. So I just wanted to put that past you, but mainly my biggest thing this morning was tell you guys I really appreciate it, seriously, what you guys do. I don't know that I could do it. I know it's very stressful. I know it can get to be very somewhat degrading at times, but I just want you to know there's people like me that I'm not here all the time. I get down here as much as I can. And when I do, it's really a slice of heaven down here. It seriously is. This is my home away from home. I've got some great friends that I've made. Commissioner Jones, Commissioner Ward, you guys have been really good to me down here, and I really do appreciate everything that you guys do and the work that you put in. I would appreciate it. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you. All right. Michael, there was no action on Howard's report, correct?
Not that I saw, sir, no.
Mr. Chairman, I do want to bring up, though,
Yes.
if you will,
Yeah.
if you pull up his report, you know, we were talking about inmates and the
Yes.
lack thereof. And that was one of the reasons why a lot of us were getting complaints about why their ditches weren't dug and the grass wasn't mowed, because we were really short-staffed. So I don't know, apparently the meeting that Commissioner Sanders had with the new warden over at the prison obviously did good, because now we're getting anywhere from 14 to 16 inmates every day. It's consistent. So that's labor that we don't have to have our taxpayer dollar pay for, because we're not having to hire the extra people because we have inmate labor that we're using. So I just want to say that that's fantastic. So thank you for having that meeting with them, because it definitely helped, for sure.
And just to let y'all know too, you know, Howard came up here, a couple of meetings ago and said we had an extra truck that we could get another crew. So I was talking to some of them out there, trying to get some more prisoners to, you know, inmates. And they were at that time making another crew for Fonda's department. So, and you're seeing how much work product they can get out, because they take care of all the mowing, all of that, and it makes it a big deal. Now, I hope we can look forward to the day where we can have specialized trades out there, because that's where a lot of our parks, that's how a lot of our parks got built to start with, was the tradesmen that they had out there at the prison. So, and they come in and built the block buildings and stuff like that. So hopefully, but we just have to reinforce to them that we want to support them in any way we can, and we'll just work, you know, and I think that's a good thing. But I know it sure helps our road department, solid waste, and all those departments that need the extra labor. And it's like Mr. Covington was saying, that he doesn't know how we do it sometimes. Well, that's the way you have to do it. You just kind of have to look outside the box sometimes. But thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing up the Commissioner Ward. I thought the same thing when I was looking at it, especially when I seen those numbers, because I don't remember ever talking to a warden, but the last person I know that wanted to talk to one is sitting right here beside me, and apparently it produced results. So I'm thankful to the warden, to the prison, and to Commissioner Sanders.
Well, Michael was there with me, and what did I tell him? Okay, let's get down to it. This is what we need.
Yeah.
Well, it also kind of helped that she's known you for a long time too, so she was very comfortable in talking to you,
Yeah,
Commissioner.
well,
So
that's-
that goes a long way. So
That's why
yeah.
I'm back in this seat
Yes,
right
ma'am.
here, to do the work of the people.
Yep.
But thank you, Commissioner.
So there is no action item on Mr. Neighbors' report, Mr. Davis's report,
No,
or Ms. Daniels, or Mr. Polis.
correct.
So Commissioners, if y'all have any questions for either of those directors, just reach out to them independently. And you know, if you have a question, that way they can be answered, or something you need to address. Is Mr. Lovestrand in attendance today, Michael?
No, because he had no action item.
Okay.
Sir.
All right, so that brings us to Ms. Whitney Roundtree.
Oh,
From the library?
got some actions for us.
There you go. Got some action.
All right, I'm a little nervous, so we'll shake it out. All right.
You're good.
And I might get a little emotional while advocating for the library. It doesn't mean that I'm not prepared. It just means that I care, and I care because it matters, and I'm sure all of you up there can understand.
Yes.
So before I share my report, I want to take a moment to thank the board and the community for their continued support of the Franklin County Library. We are facing some uncertain times, and my inbox has been filled with messages from our library support organizations regarding the loss of services and resources. I'd like to briefly speak about our library, our mission, our values, and the impact of these service losses. I do this because I'm asking for your support in advocating for our library and the community it serves. The library is truly one of the greatest tools a government can provide its community. It is equitable, easy to access, and provides a direct return on investments to its stakeholders. A question we often hear, especially from people who may not use the library themselves, is whether the library is still relevant. That's a narrative we library workers have been conditioned to fight for decades, but the answer is simply yes. The library is absolutely relevant. You only need to look at the wide range of services we provide to see what it can do for you. Technology classes and resume help, free online language learning, voter registration and assistance for applying for social services, free meeting and study spaces, educational and health programs, and even disaster relief services. After hurricanes are a major event, the library becomes activated as a disaster relief center where residents can connect with multiple organizations and get help, including FEMA. They often stage at both of our libraries. But the greatest tool that the library offers isn't a program or service, it's the people who work there. Our staff takes the time to connect you with exactly what you need or point you to accurate resources. We are one of the few places you can walk in and ask almost anything, and we'll do our best to help you. And the beauty of the library is that it never stands still. It evolves and it reinvents itself to stay relevant, because our mission is to support and uplift the community, to meet real needs in real time. I always say your library because it is your library. It's here for you. A community that invests in its library thrives, and a library that invests in its community thrives. With that, I'll move into my report. So if you took some time to review it, you may see that we've lost a very vital service. It happened kind of unceremoniously. The State Division of Library Service held a meeting last Wednesday There was about 200 participants in the webinar, and they let us all know that they would be ending the statewide delivery service. This service is what we depend on for interlibrary loans. What that is if you come into my library and you need a material and it's not on our shelves, I can put in a request with another library and they ship it right to us. It's easy, it's convenient, and it opens you up to a world of materials that you wouldn't have access to otherwise. This change is affecting all libraries in Florida that use this service. So we're all scrambling to figure out how to resolve this. The Wild Wilderness Coast, our cooperative organization, we all met yesterday to discuss our options, looking into courier services, with priority being to reestablish reciprocal borrowing between our cooperative systems, because without reciprocal borrowing, I don't feel that we can fully function as a cooperative. But I wanted to expand on the loss of services because it's not just the statewide delivery service. Here's some things that I've been updated about recently. The Florida Library Association, FLA, is closing its physical office in Tallahassee by the end of October this year. Staff will work remotely. Lobbyist services suspended through at least November. And despite successful conference and fundraising revenue is falling short. LSTA funded programs. The LSTA grant is Library Systems, Technologies, and Applications. This is what affected the delivery service. So the Florida Library Webinars is unable to offer new live webinars until after funding is restored. PLAN, which is the Panhandle Library Access Network, of which we are a member, has postponed future trainings, including Tech Day and the Florida Library's online conference and other scholarships. PLAN has also provided technology and resources such as Launchpads, Wonderbooks, and other educational tools to Panhandle libraries through LSTA funding. With funding frozen, these distributions will stop. Locally, FCPL staff have benefited directly from PLAN's training programs and scholarships. For example, I recently attended PLAN's training on disaster planning for libraries, and I recently completed a leadership training scholarship through PLAN. These opportunities will no longer be available to us if funding remains suspended. Other projects such as Ask a Librarian are under review. So just to summarize, these changes represent a substantial reduction in resources, technology, and professional support available to Florida public libraries, including ours. So I did draft a template letter. I had to put this together pretty quickly. Again, we got the news, on Wednesday, and I had to have it into you this week. This is just something to start with. Again, I put it together quickly. I haven't done anything like this before. I'm open to your opinions, your feedback. You guys probably have a closer professional relationship with these representatives than I do. So if you have any suggestions, or we can workshop it and make changes as needed.
Ms. Whitney, I do have a question. So am I understanding this right? So is the state not funding part of these services for the library? Is that where they're going away?
Yeah, so again, and also they have not released an official statement. I did ask, they said that one would be coming out soon. So this was funded through the LCA grant. Essentially, they provided this delivery service, and through this grant, 60% of it was covered. And then the individual libraries or cooperatives, like Wild, ours, would pick up the remaining cost. They've switched out, different courier services through the years. Most recently, we were using FedEx. We will no longer be able to access our FedEx accounts after October 1st. They said basically if we want services, we got to, negotiate our contracts on our own.
But is it, I just want to be clear though, is it a state thing or is it
It
a
is,
federal
yeah.
thing?
So there you got your federal IMLS funding that trickles down to the state, and then that's, distributed through state grants. So it's my understanding that maybe they didn't get the federal funding, and that's, again, it was a little unceremoniously. I kind of acted surprised. We were upset.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, go ahead.
It was just cited as lack of funding to us. I do have the chat log and the webinar that I attended, the slides. I'd be happy to share those with you. And I do have a contact, Kathy Maloney, with the state division that we can reach out to and try to get some more answers.
That would be good. Go ahead, Commissioner.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I actually asked Whitney to be here today and to add this to her report as an action item, because this doesn't only affect this year, this can affect years after. It could affect their funding. We need our libraries. Our libraries are extremely important. Look at the numbers on her report. So there are thousands of people that go to these libraries between Carabel, East Point. So they're definitely needed. So that's kind of why I wanted to have her come today to request this letter of support to our senator and to our representative, because again, it certainly is not going to hurt. We need to let them know that we're advocating for our libraries and our patrons that use the library to continue funding and to hopefully get this funding back. So,
Yeah, and I did include in here that from August 2024 to July 2025, Franklin County patrons borrowed 1,787 items from other libraries this year. We loaned 2,607. Those were probably to larger, busier library systems. But again, that all counts as circulation of our books. When they look at us for funding, they look of course, of population side expenditures, but they also look at the circulation of materials.
What's the monetary amount lost? You have that information?
I can come back to you with that.
Just email it to me.
And then again, I included in my letter, it's not just about the loss of access to materials. It's also, I'll just read this little portion. When this service is reduced or removed, the loss goes beyond inconvenience. Patrons who request materials and are told we cannot provide that lose trust in their library. In time, that not only erodes confidence in their local library, but also in the idea that the government supports their right to learn and grow and participate in a full civic life. For a rural county like ours, where we cannot maintain the same depth of collections as larger systems, delivery and reciprocal borrowing are not luxuries, they are lifelines.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
So Whitney, the grants that you got, like to pay for any tech support, IT support, is that gone or suspended
So
also?
we don't, I have not directly, I've not had a project that required me to directly apply for LSDA funding myself. What happens is these support organizations like PLAN and FLW, they apply. Like again, Panhandle Library Access Network is a big cooperative that we're a member of. It covers all the libraries through the so they apply for that grant, and then they'll buy things like kids' computers or audiobooks, and then they distribute that stuff to their member libraries.
I was more concerned about the IT support you need if something goes down, or, you know, I know for a while there was some grant through the Wilderness Coast, I believe, that was paying for that. The reason I asked is that we would have to make a slight shift in the budget to make sure we can cover that, because the library has to be protected, cybersecurity wise.
Oh, currently Wilderness Coast covers our IT contract with Kevin, Eagle Tree.
Yeah, that's what I was asking about. Is that still funded?
That is, so, yeah, they should be fine. It depends on how this all pans out. So what I'm bringing to you, it's on my board report, is for us to go ahead and sign our annual grant agreement for the application. Wilderness Coast applies for one as well as a cooperative, and same thing, they get the money and they distribute it. That's a separate grant, it's not tied to LSTA.
Okay.
So as long as the individual and the cooperative, these are the operating grants.
Yeah.
As long as those are funded, we should be fine.
Yeah, I mean, Erin's listening, so I just want to make sure if she has to make any adjustments for the budget. We do
The
it
only thing that maybe,
before
if we
Monday.
do have to send our own packages, I did not put postage in the budget. So I may have to work with Erin, we may have to move some things around if we have to cover postage. Again, Wilderness Coast is trying to see how they can take care of that, and they would primarily cover it.
Thank you.
So it's going from a potential grant funding to going to ad valorem taxation.
Yes.
So we'll have to find a way to pay for it. Okay. That's what I wanted to be clear of.
That's kind of what Mr. Covington was kind of alluding to.
Same stuff, yeah. So we're talking about number 2, asking
I believe
the
it's,
signature. Is that where you're at?
well, you've got the letter, and I can read the thing in its entirety if you'd like me to.
No, that's fine.
So the third action item was approval of the letter template.
Okay.
For us to send out to legislators. And I'm assuming the board, I would send that to you, Michael, and it would go on their letterhead and?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just use the template. We'll put one
Yeah,
together.
he can use what you provided, put on a letterhead, format it correctly and all that stuff. And
And let you look at it before I have the chairman
Yes.
sign it.
Wonderful, thank you.
so pleasure of the board on this advocacy letter.
So move.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Ward, second by Commissioner Croom. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. Let's go back to number 1. Ms.
Yes.
Whitney.
So number 1 was actually the policy and patron code of conduct. So as a part of my report, I want to note that the library's policy and procedures and patron code of conduct have been reviewed and updated. Most of the changes were not significant but focused on clarity, updating language so that it's consistent and easier to understand. We also made small adjustments to loan periods and removed outdated material fines. The patron code of conduct was also revised mainly for clarity, with references added to align with county-wide standards and policies. All changes were reviewed by Attorney Carson, and his revisions were implemented. The portion of the policy regarding interlibrary loans is subject to change due to the recent statewide service developments. Depending on future outcomes, those sections may need to be amended. At this time, I recommend adopting the policy as written, with the understanding that the interlibrary loan provisions can be updated later if necessary. These updates are about consistency, transparency, and ensuring that our policies reflect best current practices.
Thank you. Pleasure of the board.
So move.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Ward,
Second.
second by Commissioner Sanders. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That is unanimous, 5-0.
Thank you. And then my last item is the signatures for our state grant application. This is our annual operating grant. I bring it to you every time this year. Again, this is provided by the state, covers a percentage of our operating costs. I've reviewed the requirements. I did not see any major changes from the previous year.
All right.
So move.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Ward. It has been seconded by Commissioner Croom. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. Anything else, Ms. Whitney?
No, I'll just bring this up here for you to sign.
All right, sounds good. At this moment, let's take a 5-minute recess. Franklin County Board of County Commissioners now back in session. Up next, Mr. Steve Kirschenbaum, Airport Manager.
Thank you, Commissioners. It's been a great week. I have 3 action items. One of them was, if we can, to make things easier, to move forward with this air show. And I wanted to state one thing. Somebody said something to me last week that this air show is another fair. This isn't a fair. This is to showcase our airport for economic development and to move forward with it. This year is going to be an incredible event. I'm actively trying to raise money for the foundation now, but it would be a lot easier on myself and Cliff and Aaron if we could take the money that was earmarked, the $15,000, which is now $14,500, and authorize the fiscal manager to move it over to the foundation. And it would just make life a lot easier. I don't have to wait every 2 weeks to get approval to move forward with things. I only got 9 weeks left to get this thing done. So I'm just looking for a approval to move the money over to the foundation.
All right. Commissioners, you have any questions? What's the pleasure of the board?
So moved.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Croom, second by Commissioner Anderson. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous.
All right, thank you, Commissioners. The other thing I was going to ask, it's also on the county attorney report too, but the Haney lease agreement, we had a great outing at Triumph. I got a little overzealous when the board went and voted in favor of it. I jumped up with 2 hands in the air and said, yes! But we got the $250,000 from Triumph. The lease looks real good. Angela from Haney reviewed it. Cliff Butler reviewed it, and the county attorney reviewed it. I was asking to be a little bit out of order. Could we do that, Attorney Schuler, at this point, even though it's on your report?
Is it okay to do that now, since he is here? It's airport business, so I'm good with that.
Sure. Well, the board had approved these 2 license agreements at the last meeting, subject to attorney review. I reviewed them. I wanted to bring it back to you for 2 reasons. One, of course, now the Triumph grant has been approved, and then secondly, there were some monies that are being spent for, which include the Triumph grant, so I wanted to give you all some detailed information on those improvements. Those details are on the license agreement with the foundation. If y'all don't have any questions about those improvements and the amount of money being spent, which is $250,000 from Triumph, and then $15,000 county match. Otherwise, the license agreements are the standard format that the board has already approved and used on prior occasions. The foundation will pay $2,000 a month to the board for rent for the license agreement. Out of that, the county will then provide all the utilities and the internet and things of that nature. Don't think there's going to be any sales tax owed because it's a nonprofit. And then the foundation in turn will sub-license that same hangar to Haney at $0 per month. So I've looked over the agreement. Like I said, it looks fine to me. But again, I just want to bring it back to the board for the 2 reasons stated. So if y'all don't have any further questions for me, I'll make a recommendation that the board approve the license agreement and the sub-license agreement as submitted.
All right, can we do those both as one motion?
I think you can.
Okay.
Yes.
So moved.
All right, so we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Anderson, second by Commissioner Croom. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous.
And gentlemen, thank you so much, and ladies, thank you so much. That'll be the first college in Franklin County ever, and we all did it with a lot of help from a lot of people, especially George Wilkerson. In one of the news interviews, just want to let you know that Angela Reese from Haney referred to, if this program works out, that she'd like to bring other VOTEC programs to the county. And she sent us this short little email the other day, and it kind of excited me. We're thrilled to be able to offer this new opportunity to our friends and neighbors in the region. We at Haney learned a long time ago, let go and let God. Buckle up, it's going to be quite a ride, Angela. And I'm kind of excited me to hear that. They really want to move on this. And one other thing I just wanted to say too is there are two types of people in this world. A friend told me a long time ago. Those that are here for their short time on this earth to see what they could take from this world. And there's another group of people that want to see what they could give back while they're here. And thank you for giving back, because that's who I am, and that's what you guys have just done for this county and the future of Franklin County. The other thing I was going to say, we had a discussion, it came out of the blue, about the birding at the site. And unanimously, the AOED said, as this airport grows, we don't want to get involved with having people running around the runways, running around the airport property, taking pictures of birds. It's up to you, but they recommended to prohibit birding at the site. And that was another thing I was going to ask you about.
Okay, Attorney Schuler, quick question. If we're going to do that, will we have to do that in a form of an ordinance or a proclamation, or how does that work?
I'm not sure how they were ever allowed out there to begin with.
Yeah.
I mean, the last time I heard of birding out there, we were all hunting dove. But
I understand that.
That's been a day or two ago.
So there's not anything illegal we need to do other than just
It's airport
motion of
property,
vote?
just by board action.
Just wanted to be clear. Pleasure of the board.
So move.
All right, we have a motion to approve this request from Commissioner Ward,
I second.
second from Commissioner Amison. Any discussion, commissioners? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That is unanimous.
Great. And one last quick discussion item. At the pleasure of the board, we started moving a little bit on economic development projects at the airport. And I had a meeting with Avcon, our engineer, with Florida Commerce and Opportunity Florida, just to get my feet wet and see what they could do for us with this job growth grant. And I stressed to them the importance of getting revenue into this airport, and that our approved hangar complex that we have 2.3 million sitting from FDOT for next year would be a great start. And initially, they didn't want to approve T hangars. And then I explained to them it's going to be people putting their planes in there, buying property in the county, frequenting our restaurants, buying fuel at the airport, having their airplanes repaired. And I said, it is going to stimulate our economy. And she agreed, the head grant writer from Florida Commerce, and she said we can submit for the balance of the hangar project in form of a grant. So I'm working with Avcon and Opportunity Florida and Team Franklin, and we'll put something together. But hopefully, and that could be, if we get that complex completed, it'll be full, and we could count on about $250,000 in annual revenue coming in from it, which we really need.
Good.
And that's all I have, unless anybody has any questions for me.
Commissioners, you have any questions for Mr. Kurtzenbaum?
Mr. Chairman, I have
Yes.
one. What's the current waiting list on T hangars?
Almost 40.
40? Okay.
And I'm sure if we go through the list, it might be down to 30, but there was actually 40 people on it. And I probably have about 5 or 6 that wanted box hangars. So we could fill them up pretty quick.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Anyone else?
I got one thing, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
Steve, in reference to the air show, I see you have a meeting coming up with first responders about security and emergency plans.
Yes.
Is there any way I can look for those plans once y'all get finished, please?
Yeah,
Follow
they
up
should
with
be.
me?
They should be done tomorrow. There's an emergency plan, a security plan, and an incident plan. And it's real important to the FAA to give us the airspace, because if there are aerobatic performers, God forbid there's an accident, they want to know that it can be worked real well. And one thing we're going to do is the end of runway 18 by Bluff Road, where the road department is, we're going to have an exit. They wanted a devoted exit for first responders to the hospital. So that's going to be their emergency exit. And we have to show a site plan of where first responders are going to be, where ambulance is going to be. And what we're trying to do is park everything on the east end of the property. And I'm trying to work with the school district. We're going to have to expend the funds to try to bring in some buses to shuttle the people over to the other side of the airport. Because if we're expecting this year 5,000 to 10,000 people, it's going to be 3,000 cars we got to park. And where we had it last year isn't enough room. And this year there's also going to be The car show will expand. There's going to be a bike show. We're going to have the live music. We're going to have food. There's going to be somebody down there with high-end cars. And I'm working on something exciting, and I hope I could put it together. But Dale Earnhardt Chevrolet in Tallahassee, I struck out with them, but I went directly to Dale Earnhardt Jr. Racing in the Carolinas, and I sent his publicist and his advisors an email that it would be fabulous to have them on board as a sponsor, and potentially to have Dale with his race car on the runway racing the Titan team when they go down the runway. So that would be a great PR thing for the event if we could get him in, and I'm trying. So that's about it, and I'm actively crazy fundraising, and I just got a little bit from Centennial Bank today, and the vendors are starting to kick in, and the website will go live on Monday.
So once you get finished with those plans, can I review them once you get finished with the security emergency plans?
I will get them to you. How about if I email them to all of you tomorrow or the next day, the latest?
Fine. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Crooms.
Mr. Chairman, one more thing. On that alternate route, I guess you're gonna go out the end of 1836.
Yeah.
Are you all planning on putting a culvert in and going across that ditch and double gating?
Oh, no, it's all the way on the north end of the runway. I spoke to Howard the other day, and I had Scott run through it with the brush hog. You can actually get out that way, but it just needs to be leveled a little bit. And I asked Howard if he could come in with some crushed gravel or something to run over it.
So you're talking about going down the road by the city's well and then going back into the city yard over there?
Yeah, that way.
All right.
And if there's a road, when you come into the high road department through that gate, if you go left, you're at Howard.
Mm-hmm.
If you go right, there's a road that they're working on the well for Appalachia over there. That road goes right to the end of that runway.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it. I was just curious if y'all were gonna put another culvert in and just do a straight shot across.
You know, maybe if you have some time next week, Howard's not gonna be able to touch it till probably October.
Mhm.
You wanna take a look at it with me and see what you think?
Yeah.
All right, that sounds good. And this way the emergency vehicles have a way to get out if God forbid there's an issue.
That's good. Anyone else? Mr. Steve, thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen, ladies. And thank you, Attorney Schuler.
Yes, sir.
All right, Miss Erin Griffith.
Good morning, Commissioners. How
Good
you
morning.
doing?
Miss Erin, there's only 3 or 4 action items. Just go through your whole report, please.
Oh, okay. The first action item is the rural infrastructure project applications. In the application window for the RIF, Rural Infrastructure Fund Grant Program through Florida Department of Commerce, actually closes on September 5th, which is this Friday. The program has $17 million allocated to 31 rural counties and all of the municipalities within. There's also an additional $5 million specifically allocated for panhandle counties. In this program, there are 2 grant categories: a total participation grant for up to 100% of the cost of the project, and a project planning and preparation grant category, whereas up to $300,000 can be requested for infrastructure feasibility studies, design and engineering, or other infrastructure planning and preparation services. County staff would like permission to submit the following grant applications for the RIF program. Item number A is a total participation grant of $2,625,000 for the construction of 2 60-by-60 hangars equipped with a classroom and the associated offices. These hangars were identified in phase 3 of a larger phase development in the attached exhibit and would support a potential flight school or an aviation MRO enterprise at the Apalachicola Airport. This hangar development would support enhancements to the local economy and aviation operations at the local airport. Number B, the project planning and participation grant. We're requesting $247,800 for the countywide road condition assessment and inventory. This type of planning study would fit within the guidelines for the RIF program and would provide a comprehensive inventory of county roads and conditions. This inventory would assist the commission and staff to determine which roads should be submitted for transportation grant projects, provide an adequate inventory for post-disaster recovery, and determine priority for county-funded paving efforts. Adequate infrastructure is a building block for economic development, fosters community investment. The next project C, Project Planning and Participation Grant, $294,000 grant application for a feasibility planning and design of a public auditorium project on St. George Island. This project would analyze the county-owned parcel along Franklin Boulevard and determine suitability for a public auditorium with a meeting or event size of 150 persons or less. This venue could aid in marketing Franklin County as a destination for corporate retreats, meetings, weddings, and other events. Additional jobs could be created in local industries such as restaurants, food service, charters, vacation rentals, media, support of airport operations through fuel sales and car rentals, all from having a viable auditorium event space to feed those support activities. Board action to approve the chairman's signature on the attached letter of authorization to submit the RIF grant applications.
Pleasure of the board.
So moved.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Amison, second by Commissioner Croom. Any discussion, commissioners?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Aaron, on number B, I know that I had spoke to, I think it was Justin at the time, about kind of a feasibility study for drainage. So I know we had been talking about roadways and our roads and paving. We've been through that down that road literally before, because it's so expensive to pave one road. And a lot of us don't have money in our paving funds to do what we want to do through our districts. But with this, does that include, because my biggest thing too is stormwater drainage. You could pave roads all day. If you don't have proper drainage, it's kind of a moot point. And I've also said in the past at meetings about how we have issues in our county with stormwater drainage. You've got culvert, and then the next house doesn't have a culvert, and there's nowhere for that rainwater to go. So we need to kind of look at fixing that as well. So is that, or could that be included in this, or is that included in this?
That is not included in that. I do know that Bree is actually working with Justin and ARPC right now, and will probably be pursuing actually some disaster mitigation funding for that type of project. So they are working on a drainage basin study.
Okay.
And that would actually be probably through Department of Environmental Protection. So there's a couple other buckets that we're looking at for the drainage issues.
Okay. All right. That's all I needed to know. Thank you.
So this would just be for the actual road surface?
Correct.
Okay. Any other questions, commissioners, in discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's a 5-0 vote. Go ahead, Ms. Aaron.
Okay, Commissioners, next action item number 2, replacement of the air conditioner unit at the jail. Franklin County Sheriff's Department notified the county last week that one of the old 10-ton air conditioning units at the county jail had gone out and was at the end of its useful life. 3 separate quotes from various vendors were received, and the attached $15,320 estimate from Hiller for a train replacement unit was the best price. Board action to approve and authorize payment of the attached quote from jail maintenance funds once the work is complete.
Pleasure of the board.
So moved.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Croom,
I'll second.
second from Commissioner Amison. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That is a 5-0 vote. Go ahead, Ms. Aaron.
Okay, next action item number 3, the FERDAP applications update and the update to the capital improvement schedule. The grant application window for the 26-27 Florida Department of Environmental Protection's FERDAP program closes on September 30th. County Planner Bree Robinson is working on 2 $200,000 project applications for the program, a basketball court and picnic pavilion for Sylvester Williams Park in Apalachicola, and a pickleball court and picnic pavilion at Gene Sewell Park in Lanark. The FERDAP program is a competitive award program for enhancements to parks and recreation facilities. Bree has scheduled 2 meetings tomorrow at 9 o'clock and 9:30 to ask for public input on future park improvements in the County Commission meeting room. Please see the attached advertisements, which were posted to the county website and advertised in the Apalachicola Times. The draft meeting agendas are also attached for reference. The FERDAP grant application also awards points for the inclusion of subject projects into the county's capital improvement plan. Sylvester Williams Park was already on the last version of the updated plan. Gene Sewell Park improvements need to be added by resolution to the capital improvement plan. Board action to approve and adopt the attached resolution to amend the Franklin County capital improvement schedule of the comprehensive plan to include the proposed improvements at Gene Sewell Park.
Pleasure of the board.
So moved.
We have a motion to approve from Commissioner Croom, second from Commissioner Sanders. Any discussion, commissioners? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That is unanimous. All right, any updates, Ms. Aaron?
Oh, yes, yeah, we have a lot going on right now.
Yes.
The St. George Island Multi-Use Path Resurfacing Project from 3rd to 3rd is currently out for construction bids. We did have a mandatory pre-bid meeting yesterday on site, and that was well attended by interested contractors. The Apalachicola Health Department siding repairs are underway, and Commissioner Kroon posted a great progress photo online. The north side of the building has been stripped of the old siding, the rot repaired in those areas, and the new wrap installed. They have not yet started on the south side of the building, but the project does seem to be progressing quickly. Parks and Recreation is working to order and install engineered wood fiber surfacing and border materials around the new playground at Sylvester Williams Park. Kendrick Sports Arena pickleball court construction. The old tennis court has been demolished, pre-stressed concrete slab has been poured, and the interior fence supports have been installed. The TDC spending plan revision, development of project list for TDC board's consideration, vetting of the projects or required study. Provide any additional concept to the draft list as needed. Lanark EMS interior framing is in progress. The SGI stormwater project is actually beginning construction today. So some of the stormwater outfalls and inlets, some of the boxes were actually placed on site. The work is going to be focusing on the retention pond areas at the center of the island for the first 30 days of the project. And that is namely because FDOT has granted the county approximately 30 days to get that work complete, because they are coming right behind us with the resurfacing project that they have under contract for Island Drive and also Franklin Boulevard on St. George Island. So they want the county to get in there and get the ponds redone, and then they can come through with their resurfacing efforts. District 1 and District 5 road paving segments are also out to bid. The solicitations were attached as attachments to my report. Rio Vista Drive is actually being resurfaced, I understand, beginning today in District 2. The loading dock at the Buddy Ward Seafood Landing Park is now under construction. Bids go out at the end of the week for the courtroom upgrade project, and bids are also going out at the end of this week for the dune construction portion at the 2 county park locations for the Restore Countywide Dune Restoration Project. The First Responder Communication System Design Consultant public interviews with respondents has been scheduled for Wednesday, September 10th, with the ranking committee to be held by Zoom. Official calendar invites will be posted later this week. We also have your first public hearing for the county budget is actually scheduled for Monday at 5:15. And also we understand the public comment period has opened for the St. George Island Breakwater project at the SGI boat ramp as well. So that we should be coming to end as far as, in the permitting process for the Breakwater project. So that's a good sign. And I think that's all of the updates I have at the moment.
Mr.
Just a
Chairman,
couple.
I got a comment, comment, one question. For one, this is amazing. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on, and it's nice to see things progress and getting completed that this board has voted on in an action in some form of time or another. But my question is this, and I don't know if you can answer this or not, but I kind of want to ask my other board members too. Is the wood fiber the only material that we can use at our parks for the playgrounds? Because I know, for example, at Vrooman, there was a child that fell off the monkey bars and broke his arm. And they thought, well, if it's wood fiber, it's hard to come down on, but then sand is also hard. And I know that some people use chopped up rubber, like old rubber tires, which
That
would
gets
be
too
hot,
hot, yeah.
very hot. But I just was gonna ask, is there a policy countywide in terms of what we can use for filler at these parks, or is that just what the Parks and Rec Department has figured out what's the best thing to use maintenance-wise and
actually, the engineered wood fiber is authorized. That's actually one of the things that is permissible for playgrounds. The engineered wood fiber, you can also do the rubberized mulch, but like you say, it does get hot. So there's pros and cons for basically every surfacing material. Now, granted, the artificial turf is really the best surfacing. However, it's extremely expensive, and it's almost the same price as the playground equipment.
And it's still hard when you come down off a monkey bar. So people still might get injured. I just want the mess, obviously safety wise, but going to playground, I guess you take that into consideration. So I just wanted to ask that question. So thanks for the answer.
Can I? Aaron, on the first responder communication, so you're gonna go through the interviews next Wednesday. Then you'll.
Yep, that's correct. Yep, I'm actually compiling right now the consultants. We'll be sending them out a presentation invite, and this meeting is also going to be a Zoom meeting where it's open to the public. So the presenters will be the ranking committee members. They'll be actually allowed to talk and ask questions, and then also the presenters themselves, which would be the 4 respondent firms. And then the public is welcome to participate and listen throughout that entire process.
And then you'll come back to us for recommendation the second meeting in September?
Yep, I hope so.
Second meeting, okay. The other thing is, I've been trying to think how we could fund this pickleball court at Gene Sewell Park. This helps us right here, but I want it to be known that if something happens and this does not get funded through this FERDAP grant cycle, I would like the board to help me figure out somehow or another we could get this thing done and put the pickleball, because it's a needed thing. Seniors need advertising. At one time, many years ago, the health department had money that they would help with physical activities for the seniors and stuff in the county, but I guess they don't have any money now.
Mr. Chairman, not to interrupt, but I want to say I went to a conference one time, and I want to say I heard, I don't know if this was a while back, so I don't know if they still do this, but AARP, they give grants. So I don't know if maybe that's someone we can reach out to perhaps to see if they can help if this doesn't.
Bree, myself and Bree talked about that a little bit one time. So we're just going to see, and hopefully we'll get funded this FERDAP cycle. But hearing things that's going on, even starting now with the legislature and all, it kind of worries me. So we need some alternatives in case funding don't come down like it's supposed to.
Right. You're right. Ms. Aaron, are we gonna be having for action sometime in the future the update that you mentioned with the improvement schedule or the plan that we have through TDC?
We are, yep. I believe the TDC is actually going to look at that draft list at their next meeting as far as for the Section 6 improvements. And I'm not sure yet if they have actually released the statutory change. I don't know if they've actually come out with the latest edition of the Florida statutes as of yet. I haven't checked in a couple of weeks, but the last time I checked that was not available yet. So once those are actually posted, I can actually get the public hearing scheduled as far as us being able to actually formally amend the plan. So that should happen probably sometime in October. It seems like they were relatively late September last year by the time that they actually released the final documents.
Yeah, they might be running a little bit behind because everything was taking a little bit longer this year. Okay, sounds good. Because I know there are other things on this, even this updated list that we're discussing as potential TDC funded projects, but we'll wait till it's appropriate.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I got a quick question. Aaron, you may be able to answer this. The Maritime Museum out at Buddy Ward Landing Park, where are we at on that? Are we ever going to open that thing up?
I certainly hope so. I know they were doing some upgrade work on the security cameras out at Buddy Ward Park. I think Michael was involved in that. And from what I understand, that was one of the last things that needed to be completed. Now, however, we do need to get a contract in place for the operations of that museum. So I don't know if that has. I know that one was. It seems like one was done a long time ago, but it's been quite a few years ago now. So we likely need to go through that process again. But no, we do need to get that park open to the public for sure.
I had a couple people asking. That's why I figured I'd educate myself on it.
Aaron, I got.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Aaron, I got one question. I was actually approached last night about where are we on the D.W. Wilson pickleball phase out there?
Oh, that is still in the design phase. Yep, they're working on the stormwater permitting. From what I understand, it's probably about 30 to 50% through that process.
With Dewberry?
Yep, correct.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Ms. Aaron, thank you.
Thank you all.
All right, Mr. Rome, we're up to you.
All right, Commissioners, page 20 of the handout your agenda handout. So you all have a copy of the Notice of Request for Competitive Solicitation, also known as the RFQ, Request for Qualifications, for the TDC admin services. You should have the documents and the selection criteria. There were some changes I made right before I uploaded it. I removed from the photo the East Point, reference to the East Point Visitor Center. That's not part of it anymore. I removed any reference from the original 2018. And Amy, I'll say thank you very much. That kind of inspired me. But we'll talk about that later. But the 2018 references where TDC was the one that did the ranking and the review, I removed that from it. So it all comes to the Board of County Commissioners. So I just wanted to make sure before I run the ad and I post these documents and criteria online for them officially to start looking and submitting applications and responses that the board was good with it. I'm planning to have a closing date of September 26th. You can open your responses at your October 1st meeting, then schedule interviews. It doesn't necessarily have to be at your next meeting. It could be before then. Then you can select a candidate at your October 15th meeting and have them, I feel, safely ready to go for November 1st.
Mr. Chairman, did you, Michael, on the one concern that I had about the years?
Yes, I did not change that. So it's a 2-year contract.
Okay.
What we did not do is include any automatic extensions, both parties agrees or not. We've done that in the past, Commissioner, but I didn't do it on this particular one. I was waiting to see how the board would feel once you brought that up today.
Okay. I just didn't know if 2 years was, 2 years is a short time, and if we're in contract with someone, that was my only concern was, I don't know how the other contracts run. Some we have, they're also different. Some are 4 years, some are, so that was my one thing that I saw, but if everybody else is okay with it, I'm okay with it.
That's what I had highlighted on mine as well. It was 2 years. I didn't know if that was normally what we do or if it was too short as well.
Yeah, because 2 years, that's not a lot. It's not a lot of time to sit there and get used to a new role if it's a different person or whatever. So, but
I would say the board plans to increase this contract beyond the 2 years. I'm going to probably recommend the same thing for the vendor contract because we want to keep them on opposite years.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
whatever
we've been
goes.
trying to do this for a while, get them
are they
on
2
opposite
years? as
Yeah,
well?
right now they're
Okay.
2 years.
Well,
Well,
if they're 2
no,
years,
I
we
take
could
that
keep
back.
the same.
Attorney Schultz and I were talking yesterday. He said they had automatic renewals, which I didn't realize they did. But the new contract I was going to issue next year would have only been for 2 years. So, yes, so again.
Mr. Chairman, I don't mean to interrupt you, but the reason we did the 2 years, if y'all remember, we had this discussion was because the potential legislative changes.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And then we were gonna talk about, once we get through that smoke, extending it longer.
That is true, sir.
Okay, that's fine then. I make a motion to approve.
All right, so we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Ward,
Second.
second from Commissioner Crew. Any additional discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That is a 5-0 vote, Ms. Jessica.
Commissioners, number 2, at your last meeting, we had that discussion about the whole town hall meeting in reference to the special zoning district for St. George Island. The board did approve that at a previous meeting. Chairman Jones is in discussions. He informed me with a potential moderator for that town hall meeting and plans to schedule it at the end of this month. He should have details on the date, time, and location of the town hall at your next meeting. Also discussed was Commissioner Sanders' request to create a special zoning district for the Alligator Point, Ball Point area. And she would, I'm sorry, ma'am?
The whole eastern end of Ball Point, Alligator Point, Dog Island, I think that's what I mentioned, all of them.
I was gonna ask
Oh, you wanted
about
to put
that.
Dog Island? I'm sorry. Okay, I thought we talked about that being separate of some kind. Okay.
I think what Michael, Commissioner, Chairman, I don't mean to interrupt, but I think what he's saying is, do you want to keep Alligator Point, Ball Point together and then have Dog Island as their own?
Yeah, because they might have separate requirements for Dog Island. I thought that's what we discussed. So, but anyway, I hear what you're saying.
But everybody.
Yes. So, same process I said. So, what I'm asking for is to approve to commence I guess what Commissioner Sanders was saying, she wants to see how Commissioner Jones's process starts, how it does, and then she wants to do the same thing. So I just want to go ahead and get approval for that.
I do have a public comment on this item.
Okay, sir.
Mr. Rigglemeyer?
So in other words, you want him to be the wind dummy?
There you go.
Well, he's the one that suggested it.
Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Gail Rigglemeyer, and I'm here in a different capacity this morning. I am representing the concerned citizens of Franklin County. Our President, Mason Bean, had another obligation, so he couldn't be here today, so you got me. At the August 20th meeting, as Michael had just mentioned, the county was beginning the process of putting together a Citizens Advisory Board to move forward with the SGI Special District. But most people don't even know that this is something being considered by this board, and we don't have any details or understanding of why or how it would work or what the intentions are. And so the CCFC board talked and thought it would be a good idea to have a town hall meeting that we would sponsor or host. And we invited Commissioner Jones to participate, which we were delighted that he agreed to do. And we were also delighted at the last meeting how this whole board was very supportive of the idea. And even Commissioner Sanders wanted to participate in the SGI one and then maybe consider it for her district. So it's all very exciting, and we're happy about that. But since that meeting, Commissioner Jones gave us a date of September 30th, and he requested that Barbara Sanders be the moderator. So Mason Bean checked with Miss Sanders, and she had agreed and will be in town. And so we went ahead and moved forward with booking the St. George Island Firehouse. We've made accommodations to Zoom it for those people who can't be there physically. And so needless to say, we're kind of caught off guard by today's agenda, where it's being delayed until the next meeting, when we were poised as a CCFC to promote this to the community, to get participation throughout the community and publicize it so all the commissioners, if they want to be there, can be there without any, violation of sunshine laws. So I guess our question is, help us understand what the delay is and what's changed, because we're poised for September 30th, and Ms. Sanders is lined up, and we got the firehouse lined up.
Ms. Rigglemeyer, what delay are you referring to?
Well, it says here that he should have details, the date, time, and location at the town hall at your next meeting, which is your next meeting in September. But we've already got it scheduled for September 30th, so we can begin promoting it like today.
That's fine. What is the time?
6
I never did
o'clock.
ask you guys the time.
Yeah, it was 6 o'clock
Okay.
at the SGI Firehouse.
Yeah, there's no delay on our part. Matter of fact, I'm glad you mentioned that, because that was one of the concerns Mr. Mason Bean brought to me when he called me about this town hall, was it was moving too quickly.
That's correct.
So now it's a problem that it's not moving too quickly. So which is it?
Well, which is it is we want information, because we don't think we want it, frankly.
Okay.
And the other question we have is, there's two types, in my research, there's two types of districts. There's a dependent district, special
That's-
district, and
you're
an
completely
independent
off.
special district.
This is about zoning.
Okay, so it'll be a zoning district,
It's
like
a
the
zoning, yes,
overlay
ma'am.
district.
It's a zoning district.
Okay, that's
Yes,
what,
ma'am.
see,
Only in zoning.
these are the kind of things we don't know or understand. So we're just asking for information, and the format for our town hall is going to be for Commissioner Jones and anybody else who would like to join and offer their voices, to tell the public what are the intentions, why do you all think this is a good idea, and then the public can ask questions to better understand, and then also provide feedback to you on what they think about this idea, because there's no point in even developing a citizens advisory board if the overwhelming sentiment is we don't want it or see a need for it. Because what we've heard floated as ideas for wanting to do it, some of us don't think that's necessary to go to a district. We think it could be handled a different way countywide. So we just want to learn more. And so are we firm then on September 30th?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. So we can move forward with promoting it? Excellent. Well, thank you so much.
Mr. Chairman, our next meeting is September 16th.
It is.
So we have another meeting before
Yes,
September 30th.
we do.
So you said next meeting, it says right here. We'll
Yeah.
announce
I
it at the
I think
next
it's just the way
meeting,
Mr.
so-
Morone put it in the
Yeah.
agenda packet.
I'll apologize, well, I'll wait till Ms. Rigglemeyer finishes.
Yeah, and it's my understanding, based on the last meeting, that you all will publicize it on the county's website as well. So again, you all, whoever wants to attend can be there. Okay, thank you very much.
Yes,
We're
ma'am.
excited about this. Bye-bye.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Chairman, I apologize if I didn't realize, I didn't expect this to be any other organization's meeting. I thought the county was driving
It
this.
is our meeting.
And this is a county,
Yes.
because I was prepared to Zoom, record it, and have it posted like it was a county, I hate to use the word sponsored, but a
Yes.
county-sponsored workshop, not that any other organization was going to be in charge of.
Well, I think it's just an effort to try to help. We can communicate about all that.
That's fine.
It's not a
I
problem.
just want to know that I want you guys to know where my mind was at when I wrote this actual narrative. I had no clue about the concerned citizens being involved in the town hall.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, to answer one of Ms. Rigglemeyer's concerns, so when they reached out to me about holding a town hall, yeah, I'm good with them asking about the time and the space, but I did not understand that they were considering it to be a concerned citizens town hall.
Yes,
That's why I reached out to Ms. Sanders to moderate on behalf of the county.
yes.
So,
The way you explained it to
Yeah.
me, yes.
yes. But it's just needs more communication. It'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll be good.
But we still have a
Get there.
board discussion and action about Ms. Sanders' request.
Mr. Chairman, if I could, before the
Yes.
board takes action, I just want to remind the board, as I did at the last meeting when the subject matter came up, in this last legislative session, Senate Bill 180 was passed, and that is an issue that will need to be looked at as you move forward, because Senate Bill 180 says if you pass a land development regulation, which is more restrictive and burdensome, as opposed to what your regulations are retroactive to October of 2024, it will be declared, potentially could be declared null and void. Now, I don't have any idea what these, it might cause them special districts. I refer to them as overlays, just like we already have an overlay, and I'm glad the chairman clarified that on the record.
Yes.
But myself and the planners will be discussing Senate Bill 180, and we'll be coming back to you with some advice as it regards these overlay districts as they are being developed, because if they're potentially going to be in violation of Senate Bill 180, it may be that the entire overlay, even the parts that are not more burdensome or restrictive, could be declared null and void.
Right.
So just want to get that out on the record.
Yes, sir.
It's brand new.
You said prior
To
to October.
2024.
The law went into effect this past legislative session, but they made it retroactive until October of 2024. I believe, I've been told, I think this is correct, I'm trying to remember who told me this, but apparently Walton County is the only county in the state that's not affected
Yes.
by Senate Bill 180.
Yes.
Every other county in the state of Florida is, and this runs through basically late 2027
Yes.
for this restriction. And the county planner has provided me with at least one letter that was sent to Jackson County, where it's not Division of Economic Opportunity. Anyway, one of the alphabet soup reviewed their comprehensive plan amendment, found it to be in violation of Senate Bill 180 and declared the entire amendment null and void.
The entire amendment, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't just excise out the part they thought was more, they just said, we find it in violation of Senate Bill 180, declared the entire comp plan amendment null and void pursuant to Senate Bill 180. So I'm not saying that what y'all are planning is going to violate it, but as it's being developed, Senate Bill 180 will have to be looked at and considered as the board, you know, if you choose to move forward with this process.
Mr. Chairman, so in addition to, well, that was one of my thoughts too, to make sure that Bree was there at the town hall meeting so she can take notes and listen to what's going on. Because Commissioner Ward, we had a meeting the other day about some of the ordinance you want passed in future. Well, I went to talk to Bree right away after, and she's like, hold up, let me explain to you what's going on. And she basically said the same thing that Attorney Schuler, we got to be very careful what ordinances we pass henceforth.
Well, I'm going to be bringing that up in a minute, Mr. Chairman, but I will say this. I do also know that there are several counties that are suing the state based on Senate Bill 180.
The county attorneys have been discussing that. If the actual suit has been filed, then I haven't been notified. But I do know that the county attorney board of directors has been circulating some communication internally, and there has been a discussion of filing a challenge to Senate Bill 180. But again, if it's been filed, I'm on the board and I don't know about it.
Well, it can always
I
be
don't think it's been
amended
filed.
by the legislature, but doesn't it also have an end date for that bill?
Yes,
Of
it's toward the latter
2027?
part of 2027, and
Yes.
then, I can look it up here, but I think the actual date that it ends is, that's a, what, like,
What's the point of doing it then? It's gonna end. It don't make any sense.
No.
I think that's why a lot of
it's
people
very
are.
small on my phone, I can't read it.
It's all good.
That don't make
Well,
no
you remember
sense. Why would they have an
date?
end to it? I mean, well, you know,
Let's stick to what we got right here.
no,
Get us in any
let me
more
just-
trouble.
Know it and follow it.
Let me just say this, a lot of things that they have voted on and passed and all that, to me, and I'm not being critical of any individual person, it's just the whole vision I see of the way that the legislature, is they pick and choose what they pick and choose what they want to enforce and what they don't want to enforce. Look at classroom size amendment many years ago. Look how long it took them to implement that, and that's not even
Bless
actually
you.
working.
Bless
You know, so that, I mean, it just buffaloes me that you're gonna put a 180 in there until 2027. Why? Just don't make no sense.
Well, it says here, the section 28 of Senate Bill 180 that I've been referring to expires on June the 30th of 2028, but there's also some language in here with the restriction running through, I can't find it right now, running through some date towards the latter part of 2027. Yeah, October 1st of 2027. And it's retroactive to August the 1st of 2024. And they put a "we really mean it" clause in there because they have an attorney's fee provision. If we violate Senate Bill 180 and someone, the private property owner, says, you know, notifies the county you're in violation, you've got two choices. You take action within 14 days to rescind what you've done, or if you're sued and found in violation of Senate Bill 180, then they get their attorney's fees. That's the "we really mean it" provision. So, I mean, it's got some teeth to it. It has to be looked at and seriously considered.
Keep removing more and more of local government's power. It is what it is. But hey, yeah, I'm sorry. So I'm not sure we voted yet.
No, we did not. We did not have a motion
I don't think we have a motion
Motion.
yet.
Motion to
approved.
approve.
Okay. Have a motion to approve by Commissioner Sanders, second by Commissioner Anderson. And Commissioner Sanders, so you were talking about doing Alligator Point and Bald Point together, Dog Island separate?
But really and truly it would be, because they're all three together, it'd be Alligator Point, Ball Point, and St. Teresa, the St. Teresa area.
Okay.
Because
We have
they're all,
that too.
they're all.
And then Dog Island separate?
Dog Island.
Okay, I just want to make sure what you were motioning for.
Yeah, I'll amend my motion to reflect that.
Okay.
All right, you amend your second?
I do.
All right, they've been amended. Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. Go ahead, Mr. Brown.
All right, Commissioner, so I was doing a little research online, found out the next FWC Commission meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, November 6th, and Thursday, November 7th. And November 6th is one of your meeting dates. As usual, FWC waits until kind of close to the end before they post the agenda. So I don't know at this time what day the final rules for the Apalachicola Bay will be presented to the FWC Commission. So I'm being a little proactive here and say you guys might as well go ahead now, at least make a motion for me to move the meeting to the November 5th, which is a Tuesday. If everybody schedules allow, and also to authorize travel and expenses, I'm sorry, for you guys to go there, because every commissioner said that they want to be there to that actual presentation. Now, Commissioner Kroop called me yesterday, and he also reminded me that the FAC conference will interfere with the second meeting in November. So I guess we might as well do a 2-for-1 here and change both dates, both meeting dates to that Tuesday also, because a number of commissioners, you guys serve on committees with FAC, and I believe that is the legislative conference. It is?
It is.
So that's another one that you really want to be there to that. I mean, so-
Usually, it has been where your hunting issues come up on the Wednesday with FWC, and then the other, like Apalachicola Bay usually comes up on, and fishing usually comes up on Thursdays, but you don't really know
No, you don't.
yet how they're gonna do that.
You got the dates wrong, Michael, just
do.
FYI.
don't I? Let me see.
So
So
the,
November 5th is a regular meeting.
November 4th would be the Tuesday.
November
which is
4th will be the
election day.
Tuesday. Probably looking in the wrong month, it's the 4th.
it
And
happens.
then further down, the 19th would be the meeting, so we want to move it to the 18th. Is that correct, Commissioner Kroom? The 19th is the, yep, I have it on my phone. Yep, the 19th is the conference. So we want to move it to the 18th,
So the 4th and the 18th.
4th and the 18th, yes.
All right. Pleasure of the board.
So moved.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Amison.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Sanders and Commissioner Croom. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous.
All right.
Now, what's the pleasure of the board about the authorization of travel and expenses to attend the FWC Commission meeting?
So move.
And a motion to approve by Commissioner Ward.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Sanders. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. All right, Mr. Brown.
Okay, so that's also approved. The mandatory garbage pickup workshop, we wanna, we've talked about that, the board said to go ahead and do it, so I'm trying to secure a date and a time. Keep in mind, FWC staff and a couple of the providers may attend this workshop in case this board has questions for them. We are up to one, Commissioner, Mr. Chairman, how much funding are we up to now with both years of legislation?
1,050,000.
Yes, okay. So, I know this is a busy month, Commissioners, so I'm looking at any of your Wednesdays basically in October.
Mr. Chairman, I do have a question, Michael. Why are we having it at 2 in the afternoon? Can we have it more towards when the working folk maybe can get off?
We
in
could, but I was
5?
trying to also make sure that we can catch FWC
Oh,
staff
well,
here
that's
to
true,
answer
too.
some of the questions too.
Yeah.
But they can always attend by Zoom if they're further away. Yes, I was trying to pick it in the middle of the afternoon where I can get both,
Yeah.
both sets. But the ones that can't be here in person, I'm sure can attend by Zoom, Commissioner. If the board would rather move it to late 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock.
I mean, I just feel like it definitely has a lot to do with our community and the people that are in it. And nothing against FWC staff, but that's my opinion. I'm one of 5. I just feel like anything that we have that's gonna really affect our citizens should be later in the afternoon or evening when our people that work for a living can actually be present and say their piece.
This is a culture change.
Yeah.
I'm telling you guys, this is a big change
And this
to
is a
this
big,
community.
big deal.
So this is a big deal.
So, I mean, that's my thought. I don't know what the rest of you guys think. I know,
Well, if you do it on Wednesdays, it's gonna create a
That's
problem for
right, we can't do it
Commissioner.
late on Wednesdays.
church
Yes, that's
folks,
right.
yeah,
It's-
okay.
If you do it on a Wednesday, it's not gonna just affect you two. A lot of the people that's gonna be.
They're gonna go to church, won't come to-
They're gonna
yeah.
be at church, so
Yes.
we just need to look at a different day.
Different day?
Yeah.
So maybe the Tuesday.
Other than a Wednesday.
Okay.
No, we can't do that to be the 30th. So what about the 14th? And do it at like 6 o'clock? How does everybody's schedule work for that?
I'll make it work.
Oh, I'm good with that too.
And Commissioner,
You said the 16th of
the
October?
14th.
The 14th,
Okay, Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah. And we're probably gonna have to have more than one workshop here. 'Cause
Probably.
What's gonna happen, not exactly the
Well-
same way, but kind of like what Mrs. Rigglemeyer was talking about, they're gonna wanna know. So you're gonna have one meeting and you're gonna be, wait a minute, what's going on here? You're gonna have to have a second one. So I just be prepared. We're gonna have multiple workshops on this particular item. Again, this is a big change
Right.
for this community. Very big change. So I'm sorry, we're at the 14th at 6? Is that where we
Yes.
are?
Yes, if that works for everybody.
6 p.m.
Yeah.
or 5 p.m.? 6 p.m.
That way we know everybody's off work.
I
that
won't be.
have
but
day jobs.
I'll have to take the day off.
If that don't work for you, we'll try another day.
No, that's good. I'll try to get my schedule changed. 6 p.m. 6 p.m.
So I got October 14th at 6 p.m.
Okay.
right here in your meeting room. Good?
Yeah, do you need a motion and vote for that, or
I
you
would
good?
like one, yes, sir.
So moved.
Okay. So we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Ward,
Second.
second from Commissioner Amison, to hold this mandatory garbage pickup workshop on October 14th at 6 p.m. Any additional discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous.
Everything else is information. Commissioners, we'd like to mention about the rate study. One thing you guys did ask for was the financial information, but since you approved a rate study at the last meeting, I think that's going to get you what you want.
It is.
I would say Attorney Schuler is adding right now. So I do. So if the board has no objections, I was going to hold off until after the rate study, and then we go over the list again and see what else is needed
Yes.
outside of what the rate study provides
Okay.
for the fire departments.
Yes, sir, and while we're talking about that, Mr. Morone, I would like to remind the rest of the commission, so this rate study is going to cost something, but it's not going to cost our volunteer fire departments anything.
Yes.
So yes, there is still a cost going to be paid, but it's not going to be coming out of MSBU
From
that's
the
being given
MSBU.
to the volunteer fire departments.
So it can come out of professional services?
Yes,
Yep.
Professional services.
yep. All right, Mr. Morone.
Okay, so the ever-loving 4-hour ethics class. Ooh, look at the happy faces. So, yeah, that's going to be due again. Courtney will sign you up and have you ready so you can do it on your tablets,
She's already signed us up.
That's cool. That's
She sent us a
Courtney.
link, yeah.
1 hour at a time, if that's what you, or maybe with Commissioner Amison, 15 minutes at a time, I don't know, but yeah.
I'm just sitting there.
You just got to
smiling.
complete it.
Remember, I took the wrong class, so I did 8 hours. But I'm certified.
I thought we weren't going to discuss that, but sure, okay.
Hey, I'm the first to tell you when I fall down. I laugh at myself all the time.
Yeah. Same here. So, if you have any questions, just give Courtney a call if you have any problems logging into it in any way. And your next meeting date, of course, is Tuesday, September 16th at 9 a.m. We moved that because of the FAC
Conference.
Innovative and Policy Conference, too.
All right, sounds good. Anyone have anything for Mr. Morone?
I do, but I think I'm going to segue onto Attorney Schuler's because a lot of what I have to talk about is code enforcement related, and it's going to segue into Attorney Schuler and probably Ms. Robinson's report, P&Z report. So we'll just continue on, but he knows kind of what I'm going to talk about. So,
Okay.
But it is a meeting I had with Mr. Morone. But
Okay, sounds good. Well, before we go to Attorney Schuler's report, let's take a 5-minute recess. Franklin County Board of County Commissioners now back in session. We're going to Attorney Schuler's report. Attorney Schuler?
Oh, we are.
Commissioner, the add-on item to my report, I'll address that first. Late last week, the chairman received and then through a roundabout way forwarded to me an email notification that he had received concerning a potential opioid settlement agreement between the state of Florida and the Sackler family / Purdue settlement. What I'm asking the board for today is permission for me to review and vet these documents and this opportunity and bring it back to the board at your next meeting for you to take action on. Most likely it will fall under the same category as the prior opioid settlement agreements, which is we don't necessarily receive or control the opioid money locally. It will be administered somewhere else, but we will still receive a benefit, but we have to ask for it. I don't have any idea how much money the county may receive, because when I looked at the Attorney General's website yesterday, what it essentially said is the amount of money that goes to each of the counties in the state of Florida depends on how many people participate. I'm assuming the more that participate, the smaller your pot, but we don't know that, and we may not know it by September 16th. But I did want to bring this to the board's attention because there is a September 30th deadline for the board to make a decision to participate or not.
Since this is since this is an add-on item that was added to our agenda, would it be appropriate for me to call for public comment, or does it matter because it's not the
I
final?
don't think so now, because you're not taking any action
Right.
on the opioid settlement.
Right.
You're just giving me authority to
Okay.
vet and investigate and report back for action. You can take public comment at the September 16th meeting.
That's why I asked you, sir. All right, so the pleasure of the board.
So moved.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Amison,
Second.
second by Commissioner Ward. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous.
Commissioners, we've already dealt with item number 1, which were the license agreement for the airport hangar and the sub-license agreement. The next issue concerns TDC matters. There are 2 categories of extensions that the board directed me at the last meeting on Mike's report to prepare and return to you. The first category is an extension of the TDC administration contract until October 31st of 2025, and then an extension of the TDC vendor contracts until September 30th of 2026. So I have prepared those documents. I have also attached to those extensions the underlying documents that support the vendor contracts, as well as the last extension for the administration services contract. So unless the board has any questions for me, I would request that the board approve those documents as submitted. And I know we talked about this earlier, but I did want to point out to the board that when I was looking at the underlying vendor contracts, all of them have a provision that say that upon the expiration of the initial 3-year term, which is December of this year, they could be extended for an additional 2-year term. Now, the board's decision is to extend for a 1-year term, so that is how I have prepared these extensions for the vendors. But I did want to bring that to the board's attention.
So it's in their contract now, extension it for a 2-year period?
Yes, ma'am. All of them say this, and I opened up the one for Bay Media, but they're all the same. The initial contract, of course, it contains an Exhibit A, which is the detail of the services being provided by Bay Media. It provides for their monthly fees. So that the term of the contract will be a 3-year period. Of course, it was signed in December of 2022, and the party shall have a right to extend the contract for an additional 2-year period. That means it has to be a mutual agreement between the parties for the 2-year period. But again, in this case, the board your instructions to me were to extend the vendor contracts through September 30th of 2026, which I also think is within the fair bounds of that 2-year term. I mean, you could get to September 30th and give them another year if that's what you wanted to do. If you gave them the original, potential additional 2-year period, it would just run through December of 2027. But that's at the discretion of the board and how y'all want to proceed.
Well, I thought we've already had a discussion about extensions and how we're going to do that for now.
Yep, I understand.
Yeah.
Kind of keeps it offset, right?
Yes. Yeah, we've been trying for a while to get these to be offset. For some reason, it's been difficult.
So do you motion for
Yes.
both, or do we do them separate, or what?
No, you can do both at
I
one
think
time.
you can do both with one motion, Commissioner.
I'll make that motion.
All right. So we have a motion to approve the extension of the contract to October 31st, 2025 for the TDC administration, and the vendor contracts to September 30th, 2026, but without any automatic extensions to those contracts afterwards. Is that the motion that was made? That's what I understood.
Yes.
Okay.
Second.
All right, so we have a second by Commissioner Ward. Any additional discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. All right.
Thank you, Commissioner. And I've been invited, Mr. Bill Williams, to be here to give the board an update on the Franklin EDC, Economic Development Council issue as it relates to Team Franklin. There have been some developments since the last meeting, and I think he's the best person to provide that information to the board.
Mr. Chair, Commission, I tell you, I wished I had Aaron back in my college days. I could have had 3 PhDs. He could sure whip it out. You know, I was sitting there listening to that. It's quite impressive. But basically, I wanted to bring the board's attention. I've had a lot of dialogue with Councilor Schuler and also an attorney, Fred Springer, who is pro bono working for Team Franklin. When we asked this board a month and a half, 2 months ago, to give permission for us to incorporate under Statute 125, the EDC, we were going to put it under Team Franklin, but because of the structure and the 163 that it was formed under, it became too convoluted in the process, and you made 2 motions at that time. My suggestion to the board at this point would be, and recommendations from council, would be to go back to that original motion, rescind that motion, and ask for a new action that this be formed on its own merit under, because it's going to have a separate board. And dialogue with the chairman, we're going to have 9 members to that board. And again, the way Team Franklin was structured, that may not work. We'll have a teaming agreement or a collaborative agreement that we'll put in place post that. But I think it would be better if we rescinded and asked that this be formed under council as a standalone not-for-profit with its own board.
Okay. All right. Any questions or discussion? Pleasure of the board.
So move.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Ward.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Kern. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And one other quick, and if there's anything else, Mr. Counselor, we need to do? I was just going to bring you up to speed, the board and the board chairman. We had Alexis Webb and Avery Johnson, 2 of your seniors at the Seahawks School, seniors that are excited to be going through an entrepreneur program with the Moran Institute with FSU. The chairman came to that meeting and congratulated those ladies. I'm working with David Hughes and the superintendent now to be looking at a curriculum for entrepreneurs and young people going through, and it won't be just high schoolers, it'll be across the board. But we're looking, to try to build that bottom layer entrepreneurs as we come in with it. So we've got some exciting things going. I met with the TDC. They seem to be very excited about working with and having the diversity of the EDC come into life and working with us. So as we're finally getting on our feet, I'll go and meet with each of the commissioners here so I can understand your vision for where you want to take the county from an economic development standpoint. I also sent out a letter to the cities so that the board and to the public is aware. The board chairman of this board will be the chairman of the EDC. You will have a at-large representative from the East Point area that U5 will select that individual. Each municipality will have 1 representative, and I ask them to do that according to whatever their policy is. And then there will be 5 at large. That those 4, once seated, will select, and I'll work with council on putting our operations and our bylaws and all that together, and I'll come and give you monthly updates on that as we go.
Mr. Chairman, I need some clarification from the board to make sure I have it clear in my head what your policy decision is, so I can help create the structure that was just described. Now, the economic development at the airport will continue to be managed by the Airport Advisory Board, is my understanding. That based on your motion today, the Franklin County Economic Development Council will provide economic development services countywide on behalf of the county commission.
Yes.
And then the second motion that Mr. Williams referred to that was made a couple of months ago said that Team Franklin would be the primary entity within the economic opportunity zone. That's my understanding of your decision. I just want to make sure that I'm clear, because if I don't start from the right beginning point, I won't go in the right
That's how I
direction.
understand it.
Yeah, when it relates to the, yes, because, so Team Franklin is specifically right now actually working on the housing component, and that's, the economic opportunity zone is a big deal for that, what's going on with that. Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's what I understood as well.
Yeah,
Okay,
I agree.
that's my understanding as well. I just wanted to clarify while we're all here together.
Yes.
And then for the Economic Development Board, I've offered to donate my time and money to get that corporation, that nonprofit formed, to get them a corporation book, kind of get them stood up. But someone's going to have to give me the name of the initial officers, because I will need that information in order to form that nonprofit. And I can work in conjunction with Mr. Williams and the chairman to get that process started, if that is okay with the board.
So what I would like to do, because we are kind of building this plane while we're flying it.
Ain't no doubt.
Is be able to bring back to the next meeting the names of the four initial.
Okay.
And then we can start that process if that's okay.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay.
And Mr. Chairman, I do believe, just for clarification as well, we're talking about these members. The policy we can just follow as we have with all of our other boards is, have them apply and we pick and choose who we seem fit.
Yes.
Is that an agreement on that?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. All right, well, I will wait until the September 16th.
And I'll advise this board as soon as possible, once the cities make a decision on theirs. I did speak with the city of Apalachicola, Mr. Holly, yesterday. He was going to try to float that out at their next meeting, and I sent that email to Mayor Brown as well, and so we can have Carabel selected.
Yeah, so once we have them weigh in, it'll make it easier for what we're trying to do.
Absolutely.
And I was speaking with Mr. Hartman, the city attorney for Appalachia, yesterday, and he tells me Apalachicola is they moved their meeting from yesterday to today, so hopefully they can make that decision
Outstanding.
today.
Outstanding.
I don't know about Carabel. I think they meet on Thursdays.
They
do.
Okay.
I think it's the third.
All right, commissioners, there are some possible discussion items on
Thanks,
the
Bill.
remainder of my report. Do y'all have any questions about those items? One is bringing the resolution for the property swap with Duke Energy comes to a head, is ripe for consideration at the next meeting. At the next meeting, I will also hopefully have enough information to bring you to the point where you can make a decision on the MSBU rate studies, and then some updates on the parking signs that you approved or no parking signs you approved at the last meeting, and then the plat resolution. So unless y'all have any questions for me on that concludes my report.
Any questions, Commissioner?
All right.
Nothing else?
I do have, Mr. Chairman, like I said, this is a couple things that's going to segue into Ms. Robinson's P&Z report, but I met with Michael Marone and Courtney Bankston last week about several items, but a lot of it was code enforcement. And my biggest thing since I've been on this board is code enforcement. I know it's very important that we kind of stick to what we have on the books already. We've got ordinances that we've had for a long time, and it's just kind of been lost by the wayside. But now that we're getting Miss Sissy Smith October 1st, and Courtney worked really well together, hand in hand, to abate some of these complaints that we've been receiving through our complaints portal. My goal is, and it's like I told Michael Marone and Courtney Bankston, I've also told Sissy, I want a concise, clear method and process to follow through to ensure that we're doing what we need to do. And we have a process in place now, and that's great. But we also need, I think, in my opinion, to my knowledge, we do not have an abatement blighted structure ordinance. And as most of you know and are aware, we have hurricanes, and we have a lot of blight. I have have a couple in my district right now that are so dilapidated, it's causing a safety issue and a health hazard issue, because next door you've got debris. For one, debris going every time we have a storm. There's insulation, there's air conditioning. I've literally walked out to this blighted structure, and there's an AC vent in the water. So it's going into our bays, it's going into other people's property. There's overgrowth, so there's vermin, rats and snakes going into the neighbor's property. So it's definitely something that we need to look at. So I want to potentially, and I've been researching and Miss Sissy Smith has been gracious in sending me and keeping me updated to some of these other counties' blighted ordinances. I forwarded that to Attorney Schuler, so I would like Attorney Schuler with county staff to look at this ordinance and potentially devise an ordinance based on what's good for our county and come to and present it to the board and let's have a public hearing on it and potentially vote on adding that ordinance to our arsenal, if you will, for code enforcement.
Okay.
In addition to that, I also would like, I know we have a 2016-06, which is a sanitary nuisance ordinance, but again, I want specifically abatement for blighted structures. I know we talked about RV ordinance ad nauseum. I know we've kind of put a halt on that because of some special, some concerns, but I want us to get back on that, backtrack on that. And then, of course, the field ordinance. I know that we're kind of put some things off too, because I know that the chairman was talking about the special zoning district. But I feel like these are things that we need to address in the upcoming months as soon as possible, so that when Sissy does come on board October the 1st, her and Courtney can work in conjunction together, along with Bree, to ensure that we are following that when a complaint comes through our portal, that it's followed through with and everything is copacetic, and they have teeth and things to back up what they're doing and move forward. Another thing that I would like to also bring up, Mr. Chairman, is I have a property right now in my district. I don't know the exact address, but it's on Wilderness. It's already been through the magistrate procedure. I spoke with Attorney Schuler about this yesterday. We need to move forward on whatever process we need to get, because there's essentially a bus on the other person's property that made the complaint. And they need it moved. They want it moved. It's been through the magistrate process. I want it done. I want to get through the process. I know there's another step because we talked about it, but I want to make sure that when Sissy and Courtney go out to these complaints and they're fulfilling these concerns and following through with this process and the policy that we have on code enforcement, we go through the magistrate. We have these processes in place so that we're not 3 years after the fact trying to fix a problem that's, I know we have to give the property owner due diligence. I get that. But I don't want to look, because I can go on the portal right now and find problems that complaints from 5 years ago. And I'm like, where are we at with this? Why does it take so long? It shouldn't take that long. I know, again, sometimes we have to take, because the court, magistrate and all, but once that magistrate procedure happens and he gives a ruling, we should be able to go out and fulfill that ruling, whatever that ruling is. And a caveat to that is, well, how do we move if the property owner isn't going to pay to remove these items? How are we going to pay for it? So I know that a lot of these ordinances, there are fines that get accumulated. I know we haven't collected any yet, but there's going to be a time where we're going to need to collect fines to be able to, if the county does have to get involved with hiring a contractor to remove things off of property or to clean county properties or to go on these blighted structures, tear it down and demolish, we need to have a process in place for how that works as well. And where do these people go pay fines? I know we had talked before about the clerk, because this does involve her office. We need to get those things in line, because in my opinion, if a person's paying a fine for violating a code or violating an ordinance, then that money can maybe go into a pot where we're not having to use ad valorem to clean up a property that the homeowner flat out won't do or can't do. So those are just some thoughts. I know that's a lot to absorb and take in right now, but I feel like that these things really need to be in place to make our code enforcement a success, and to help when Miss Sissy Smith does come on officially October 1st at our new budget season. So that's my thoughts on that.
No, those are all good thoughts. Attorney Schuler, haven't we had some people that have been fined already? Because she mentioned that we haven't collected any fines.
Being fined and collecting fines, two different matters.
Okay.
I believe. Well, let me check with the clerk to find out, and then I can report the next
fine.
meeting. I don't find it unusual that people are not paying the fines based on the conversations I've had with others, and that's why the Commissioner Ward knows this. I'll tell the rest of the board. I have been working on a draft that accomplishes these different things that she's talking about. I'm not sure if I'm necessarily using the language blighted structure, but I think it will accomplish the same thing that you're trying to accomplish. with mowing and abating nuisances. There is due process that will have to be provided to the property owner. But unfortunately, part of the ordinance I'm drafting will also have a provision for your consideration to authorize the use of ad valorem dollars for the abatement of these nuisances that constitute a code enforcement violation. I think that's just a reality that the board's going to have to consider. If we get fines, that's great, but I think you should be prepared to consider authorizing the use of ad valorem taxes to abate these code enforcement violations. For example, the cost of hauling off potentially a vehicle, or demolishing a blighted structure, to use the language, and then placing a lien on the property. Even then, if you get a code enforcement lien on homestead property, you're not going to be able to foreclose on the homestead based on a code enforcement lien. Non-homestead, I can go to the magistrate and get permission to foreclose. And the property ultimately would then be sold on the courthouse steps. The county most likely would be the successful bidder, because you'll have the code enforcement lien that you can bid for the property, and then once the county owns it, you can do what you want to with it. Of course, all of that would only happen once I come to the board and get your permission to foreclose. I mean, that's not something that I think I have the standing authority to go out and do without getting board permission. But in any event, I've been working on the draft. I anticipate having a draft ordinance for you to look at your next board meeting, and then the board can decide whether you want to schedule that for a public hearing or not.
Okay. One other question. So we've also, just in talking about code enforcement issues, we've also had at least one instance where something was heard by the magistrate, but he said he couldn't rule on it. Where are we at with that case? Is this going to stay in limbo, or we're going to try to do something about it? That's the gentleman that wanted to switch to C3 in East Point. And I brought it up at the meeting that if he switched to C3, he couldn't live in his house because it doesn't allow for living in the house. Well, he's still got RVs there the whole time. So whatever we're going to do, we need to get to doing it.
Okay. Interesting. I got an email on that exact property from the property owner yesterday, claiming that all the RVs have been removed except for their personal RVs.
Well, they might have after it's summertime.
Right.
But there were 4 there during summertime.
Right. Yeah, what I recall on that is the magistrate took that ruling under advisement, and I haven't seen an order that's been issued yet. I mean,
right, he hasn't ruled one way or another. Right.
I had a circuit judge take a case under advisement in the 90s, and I still haven't gotten a ruling on it. So.
Well, in between that, we might need to switch something so he can give us some advisement.
Yeah. Well, we are supposed to meet with the magistrate every quarter, so that certainly can be brought up and put on the agenda for discussion at the next meeting.
Okay.
I have one more thing for Attorney Schuler, if you don't mind, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
So I had some people reach out to me. This is in the Hidden Beaches area in my district, which is close to Yent's Bayou. Yep. Apparently you have Hidden Beaches and then another street called Royal Vista. And what they would like to do is combine all the properties and make it all Hidden Beaches. So in other words, take away the Royal Vista and just have Hidden Beaches. So in reaching out to Attorney Schuler, what these people, there's basically 4 properties that are exist on Royal Vista Lane. There's one house that's been there since 2009, I believe, and then there's a house being built. The one that's been there since 2009 is actually getting mail sent to a Hidden Beaches address. She said UPS and FedEx delivers her packages to the address that she said she was given as Hidden Beaches. The property next to her is a gentleman who pulled permits and is in the process of building a home. Now his, of course, says Royal Vista, so you've got some inconsistencies in terms of the addresses, and so the HOA president reached out and asked if there was a way we could possibly change all of it to Hidden Beaches. So Attorney Schuler and I have been discussing, and I think he talked to Ms. Robinson about it. I think there's a way we could do it without having to go through a public hearing process, because as I told Attorney Schuler, I mean, having a public hearing there's basically essentially a total of 20 properties in that area. I think it's a waste of time and effort and taxpayer money and our time to have a public hearing for 20 people that's going to affect 20 people. That's just my opinion. So Attorney Schuler kind of come up with a different method And if you want to chime in, Attorney Schuler, feel free.
Typically, plats are only amended by going through the statutory process to amend a plat. And in this case, there's a pretty good argument that changing the name of a platted road is a plat amendment. However, there is also a statute that refers to the authority of the county commission over the county road system to name, and here's the magic statutory word, rename a road. Unfortunately, the statute doesn't lay out a process. It doesn't say you have to have a public hearing. It doesn't say what kind of notice you give to the property owners. It just simply says, regarding the county road system, you have the authority to name and rename county roads. So what I had suggested for Commissioner Ward's consideration, and of course here today for all of you, is, well, what process does the board want to put in place for the renaming of a platted road? That could be done in terms of, for example, if you look at the same statutory chapter that talks about the abandonment of a road, there is a public hearing process. The statute for renaming a road doesn't require a public hearing, but by extrapolation, perhaps a notice in the newspaper notifying the public, accompanied by basically a letter mailed to each of the property owners, would be a process the board could consider. You would then adopt a resolution, assuming that the board decides to rename the road. And as part of that resolution, it would be recorded in the public record. So there's a public notice, and then you could have direction to the clerk or the deputy clerk actually to interlineate on the recorded plat. Royal Vista is now Harbor Drive or Hidden Harbor or whatever the name change is. But Commissioner Ward has expressed to me, as she has expressed to you, the concern about the expense of the public hearing, and then basically it's the $400 charge that goes into the newspaper for the ad. That could be basically a cost of the application to change the name. I mean, that's an option for the board, but since the statute doesn't mandate a particular process, I think you have the discretion to come up with what this board decides is a reasonable process to notify property owners who are affected by the change of the change. So I mean, it's kind of a debate and question for the board. I mean, it could go all the way from a public hearing with a notice in the newspaper, with notices mailed to all the people on the road that's going to be renamed, to not having the ad in the paper, not having a public hearing, but just an advertised public hearing, but then just mailing the notice of name change to all the affected property owners. I think that's at the discretion of the board.
I did get the email, Mr. Chairman, and there was a list of individuals, property owners that did want the name change. I do think we do need to let the ones that may not be aware. I did contact the people that, a few people that have contacted me about it, and I have not heard from the HOA. I did reach out to the HOA director or president, and she has not responded back to me yet, so I'm still waiting her. But they are all unanimously unified in wanting the name change. And then in addition to that, I did ask them if they would be willing to foot the cost. And they were amendable to that, depending upon how much it was going to be, of course. So the letters, the postage, I'm sure if we decide to do it proclamation-wise, I'm sure there's a court cost involved to change the plat.
Well, no, I don't think you have to amend the plat based on the statutory authority. I mean, amending the plat is always an option, but I think based on the statute, since you do have the authority to name and rename roads on the county road system, you do not have to require an amendment to the plat. The question then becomes, what's the process? Is it going to require a notice in the newspaper or not? Will it be a notice in the newspaper accompanied by, mailing to all the people who own property along the road that's going to have its name changed? Is it going to be both of those things? I tend to think having both of those things would be something the board should consider, but I think it's at your discretion. What I do think is mandatory at a minimum is mailing notice to the property owners, requiring that whatever resolution you adopt be recorded in the public records. There be an interlineation by the clerk on the plat showing the name change on the plat, so when people look at that recorded plat, they can see what the actual name of the road is. And another thought I had subsequent to our conversation yesterday, Commissioner Ward, is I think I better go talk to the Postal Service, because if they don't accept what we're doing, it won't make any
that's true
difference.
too. Yeah.
Another question is, I thought Hidden Beaches and all that was private roads out there.
But they are private roads. I
They
mean,
are?
they're not dedicated to the public, but they are on the plat. But they're still part of the county road system, I think, just because they're,
I was
well,
fixing to say,
let me think
they
about
got
that.
gates across it, that's the
Yeah, they
reason
did
why I
that,
asked.
yeah.
That's actually a good point, Commissioner Sanders.
It's got gates across it, that's not a public road when you got gates across them.
Right,
Hidden Beaches and that Victorian Village both has got it on one side and the other side of.
That was an excellent point, thank you.
Well,
So they
Think I
might have
need
to
to
go to the
pause
plat.
and think
They
on
might
this
have to
a little
replat
further.
it then.
yeah.
Yeah, that's correct.
I think that's probably what they're gonna do is have to replat it and everything, because, and like I said, how do we do something like that when it's a private road? It's not part of the county road system.
Right, that's
It's just a
excellent.
private road.
Mr. Chairman, what I'll,
Yeah,
Mr.
that's true, thank you.
As long as everybody's in agreement, let's focus on that, the private road issue.
Right.
And then the post office, I think, because like you said,
Post office
we
is a
might as
big
well just stop where we are. I didn't even think about that. Even though this lady says she's getting packages delivered to a Hidden Beaches address, it's on Royal Vista, but, I think let's tackle that and then I guess maybe come back to present with information.
Now, of course, I'm deferential to the policymaker, but, you know, my sort of my original thought on this is, it's a platted road, just use the platted road name, go change your address to what the plat says and be done with it. That's
I think the
course of
reason
reason.
why they want it changed, like I said, is consistency. The one lady has Hidden Beaches, one's got Royal Vista. I think that they just want continuity, I guess.
Right.
That was the only.
Mr. Sanders brings up an excellent
That's a
point.
good
Let me go
point.
back and review the plat and make
Well,
sure.
and two, if you do that, then all they'd have to do is, like the chairman said, a replat. And then you don't have to go through all that big rigmarole, because now we're fixing to do something with Michael Barone signing off on plat.
Correct.
So, I mean, that,
Yeah, let's focus on those two
I just thought I'd
things
bring
first.
that point up to you.
And I didn't even take that into consideration. So let's tackle those two items first, and I guess as long as everybody else is okay with that,
Yep, that's
because those answers need to be questions, need to be answered. And I think that's all I have. For
Does anyone else have anything for Attorney Shore?
Oh, goodness.
All right, we're up to Ms. Bree Robinson. Now, Ms. Robinson, discussing with you ahead of time, A, B, and D. C is separate, it has different issues, but Commissioners A, B, and D are all critical shoreline applications. Do you want to do them one at a time, or do you want to do them as one motion?
I think we can do one motion, I don't have any problem with it.
Just on A, B, and D.
Yeah, I will, we could do that on same motion.
Okay. So, Ms. Bree, if you would, please read the caption from those three.
All right, for A is 39 Carousel Terrace with variance request. It was a consideration of a request to replace 59 linear feet of seawall, construct 90 linear feet of seawall, and place 443 square feet of riprap. Property is located in Alligator Point, Franklin County, Florida. Request submitted by Florida Environmental and Land Services, James Barrett / Elba Peppers, agent for William Hackney, property owner. That one was approved 5-0 by the P&Z board. B is 47 South Bayshore Drive. This was a consideration of a request to construct a new 760 square foot single family dock consisting of a 4 by 150 square feet access walkway, a 10 by 16 square feet terminal platform, and a 12 by 24 square feet open slip with lift. Property is located in East Point, Franklin County, Florida. Request submitted by Macaira Construction Group, Kramer Clark, agent for Shane Gutierrez, property owner. This one was also a 5-0 approval by the P&Z board. Then D, 2162 Highway 98. This is a consideration of a request to construct a new 965 square feet single-family dock consisting of a 201 by 4 foot access walkway, a 10 by 16 square foot terminal platform, and a 10 by 10 square foot uncovered boat slip. Property located in Lanark Village, Franklin County, Florida. Request submitted by MKM Quality Construction, Inc., agent for Reed Willis, property owner. This one was also a 5-0 approval by the P&Z board.
I have one question. Excuse me. On letter B, It's asking for a slip with a lift. Is there currently a house on that property?
There is a house on the property.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I have a quick question on 2162 as well, number D. And here's my issue. On the 47 in 2004, I didn't see a permit, and I've talked about this in the past. On our permits, if you ever look at our permits, it has, and it's very ambiguous, boat lifts / boat slips, 1. How do we know, or looking at the application, because for on 2162, they're asking for a slip, not a lift, but if you're looking at the application, what are we actually voting to approve or deny? The lift or the slip? So I would like those to be delineated from each other, or specified, 1 lift, 1 slip. Because if you look at the application, you don't know. It says boat lift / boat slips, 1. So that's my concern on that. Now, I know that's not what they're requesting, because it says we're requesting a lift, or a slip, but again, it's very ambiguous, and I think for clarity, we need to know what we're voting and approving, because we say okay to this, and there's not a house on this property, and they go and do a lift. Well, on the application, it says it's a lift, boat lift or slip, so we decided to do a lift. That's just my thought.
Well, and I agree with you, because we've made it a point many times in the past that a slip requires electricity. A lift requires electricity, and the electricity has to be there because the dock is a secondary and the house is the primary. So we went over there so many times.
Yeah.
We know we got to do it.
That's just a thought that I figured I'd bring up.
All right, any other discussion? Pleasure of the board.
So move.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Ward.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Sanders. Any more discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I will say, can we look at that from our zoning office perspective? Because I do feel like it needs to be clarified.
So I'm in the process of updating all of the forms. Some of them have outdated contact information, addresses. That's something I'll add to the list as I get to this one.
Thank you. Yep.
Mr. Chairman, I do have a question, actually, on the riprap, on A. Is that DEP? Have they been approved by DEP?
It's an existing one, right? Do they have to get approved?
There is some existing. I believe they were adding to it. I'm looking at the staff findings report. FDEP authorized June 13th, and the Army Corps also authorized June 5th. So they do have their permits in place.
Any additional discussion or questions? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. Ms. Robinson, let's go back to letter C.
All right. 2004 Highway 98 West. This is a consideration of a request to construct a new 1,040 square feet single-family dock consisting of a 4 by 130 square foot access walkway, a 10 by 16 square feet terminal platform, and a 12 by 30 square foot covered boat lift. Property is located in Carabel, Franklin County, Florida. Request submitted by James Barrett / Elva Peppers with Florida Environmental and Land Services, Inc., agent for Jimmy Meeks, property owner. This one, I will go ahead and point out, this is on a currently vacant lot. The owner's in the process of getting their permits to build the single-family home. So P&Z, they were a 5-0 contingent approval, and the contingency was upon power being issued for boat lift after construction of new single-family residence is completed. The owner is currently in the permitting process for the home.
Okay. Any questions? So I think it would be consistent with us to, if we do make a motion, to make a similar motion.
Yes.
So it's a pleasure of the board.
I'll make a motion to approve contingent on the primary structure being erected for the electricity.
Yeah, because they said after.
Because the permit's been pulled, so.
Yep. All right, so we have a motion to approve with contingencies by Commissioner Ward.
I'll second.
We have a second from Commissioner Amison. Any additional discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That is unanimous. All right, Ms. Robinson.
All right, so the next is a commercial site plan for 575 Houston Lane. This is a consideration of a request to construct a 7,500 square feet building with asphalt and gravel parking areas and a stormwater management system. Property is located in East Point, Franklin County, Florida. Request submitted by Southeastern Consulting Engineers, agent for Gulf Waters Edge LLC property owner. This one was also approved by the P&Z board 5-0 vote. And I do believe there's a representative for the project here if anybody has questions for him.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions?
Mr. Chairman, I did want to bring this up, and I did ask Ms. Robinson about this yesterday. In researching this, I noticed that the address was different than what was on the actual agenda. And Ms. Bree, if you could clarify that just for the public is aware and on the record if they were researching this, how that came about.
Yes, and the applicant might be able to speak to this a little as well.
Yeah.
I think there was some confusion on the 911 address during the application process. Since following that, Courtney has confirmed that 575 Houston Lane is the appropriate 911 address, and it's all set in stone, so we should be good.
And then, Mr. Chairman, there was also some question that I had because on the application, the zoning was listed as A2, and then if you scroll through the documentation, there was some question if the zoning was R4, and then there was some the actual Mylar map. And Bree, elaborate please if you want. Says it's industrial. So some questions on zoning that I had because it was all kind of contradictory. But Ms. Bree, if you want to answer that for the public record as well, if you don't mind.
Yes, there was a issue with the GIS zoning map. It was at first showing the property as A2, and then I think they tried to fix it and it showed as R4. It is I-1 that's reflected in the Mylar in office as well as the future land use map. I snipped a picture of the Mylar. If you're looking at the attachment for 575 Houston Lane on page 31, there's a photo of the Mylar map and you can see the parcel outline just so that we have confirmation it's in the industrial zone.
And of course, industrial, it definitely follows the zoning code with that. So I don't know if the applicant wants to say anything or not.
I don't really have anything to add, just if there's any other specific questions I can answer for y'all, I'm here.
All right, any questions, commissioners? If not, what's the pleasure of the board?
So move.
We have a motion to approve from Commissioner Ward. Second from Commissioner Sanders. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That is unanimous. Thank you, sir. All right. Anything else from Ms. Robinson before we go on to commissioner comments?
I have one thing, and it goes back to our docs, and this is a discussion that I had with Attorney Schuler and Bree. This whole dock thing, this is kind of multifaceted. One, 220.02 says that docks and seawalls are exempt. And I know we have gotten into the practice of denying a dock application if there's no power or no primary structure on the property. I feel like we need to amend that for continuity and clarification because I feel like people may come back and say, I want to go by what's written. I want to go by the rules and what's written. I want to be consistent in that. So I want to, whatever we need to do to change that or modify that for our code, our land comp plan, so that people look at our zoning codes rather, when they look at it, they can see that. As long as the board's okay with that.
Yep.
That makes sense?
Yep.
And then another thing, I was looking at our zoning codes, and on 220.02, and correct me if I'm wrong, didn't we make pools exempt from having the primary structure? When we had that, was that 841 Bay Shore?
That's what I was just looking at.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure before. But no, the new definition of the section you're referring to is 220.02, accessory structure and use. It says a structure or use customarily incidental and subordinate to the principal structure or use and located on the lot, including pools, non-habitable pole barns, and non-habitable storage sheds. The change that was made here is that the accessory structure used to be able to be provided only upon the completion of you had to have principal use first. What the board changed in this definition is that once they had commenced construction of the principal structure, then the accessory structure could be commenced. Because there, as I recall, there's specifically regarding pools, there was some discussion, one contractor brought up that, you know, hey, once I get the house started, but before I erect it, I need to be able to put the pool in, because once I've completed the house, I can't get to where the pool needs to go. And so the board.
Where'd you just pull that up, though? Because, just out of curiosity, are you on our website? Because
yes.
I looked it up and I could not find it anywhere.
2024.
Well, I know that, but if,
07.
like if I pull up right now on our zoning code, I'll go to our county website right now and go to our zoning code.
Probably where it wasn't updated.
Wait, are you using an Apple product or an Android?
Hey.
We are going down the rabbit hole.
Apple?
I can't use either one of them very well. So.
Yeah, it's probably, so the zoning, don't pay attention. The zoning code probably was not updated when we made that change. That's probably the problem we're having.
Okay.
'Cause I knew we made that change
I
somewhere.
know we did
Are
too.
you on Unicode by chance?
No, I hate Unicode.
Oh, that's.
Is that,
How much further down the hole
please
you
tell me
want
that's
to
not
go?
what you're on. But anyway, as long as it's reflected in our code, so when people pull it up, they know
That's-
that, that's what matters.
That's
Yes,
the
it's
problem. We
under
need to
the-
fix it in the zoning code.
Okay.
Is
So-
where you're looking.
When you
What we're probably gonna have to do eventually is not have 15 different web pages, but have one web page with everything on it. Instead of having a separate web page for zoning.
And that's where I've been going to pull it up at, was the
Yes.
zoning website.
That would
Because that's
make
where I'm
a
gonna
change
go,
that's made
zoning,
everywhere.
go to zoning website.
Okay, so just to make sure I'm clear on the board's instructions about docks with boat lifts, having read that definition about the, you know, once you commence construction of the principal
That's fine.
structure, then you can have a dock with a boat lift, but until then, you can have a dock but no electric, correct? That's my understanding where the board's mind is. Okay.
I don't care if they have a slip for a boat, as long as it,
But
you
no
know,
lift.
no lift, because a lift requires power.
No power. Okay.
So could I comment on that real quick? We do have something in our code right now that offers a little bit of protection from that. I just want us all to be aware of it. Under Section 301 development permits, it states that under no circumstances will electrical service be authorized other than temporary service for construction purposes for any building, structure, which a dock would fall under, mobile or modular home without a final electrical inspection and connection and current inspection of authorized sanitary wastewater disposal systems. It's kind of a roundabout way of saying if you don't have a house with electrical and sewer in place that you can't have electrical service. So it's not real beefy, but it's what we have right now.
Okay. I like it more clarified, though. Thanks for bringing that up. I do want to say, too, I do like the way, Bree, I don't know if was you the one that put the agenda packet together for the P and Z stuff?
Yes, ma'am.
I like it. It was very thorough, and what you had and how you listed everything out was very easy to read and to follow and understand, so thank you.
Thank
for
you.
that.
Anyone else have anything for Ms. Robinson? So in conjunction with other things we've already discussed today, I did discuss with Ms. Robinson, but I want the public to be aware. So there's a way that things are worded currently in our comp plan and our zoning with isolated wetlands, but it is not consistent with how Franklin County has treated isolated wetlands for the last 2 or 3 decades. So at some point, she's going to be bringing that to the board to try to get clarification on what we're doing. So I just want everybody to be aware of that. Anyone else for Ms. Robinson? All right, so seeing no, we're on to commissioner comments. Any commissioner comments today?
Mr. Chairman, I have one. I just want to extend my congratulations to Donna Duncan and Donna Knutson. I hope I pronounced that right. Who are the winners and our new city commissioner. Well, Donna Duncan is current sitting commissioner, but Donna Knutson on her election and Donna Duncan on her re-election to the city commission of Apalachicola. So congratulations to them.
Yes. Anyone else? I will say that it's come to my attention that there's a project that the Corps is handling over on St. George Island. They're currently in the public comment period, trying to do a seawall to protect the boat ramp area from the east wind. it makes it very dangerous when it's like that. I've known people that have been on the bay all their life that don't even like to try to use that ramp if the wind's coming from the wrong direction. So they're in the public comment period. It's something the Corps is doing. I don't know if they mailed it to everyone, but they have mailed it to island residents. I guess that maybe we're on their mailing list of having inquired about it sometime before, because I don't think they actually mailed it to everyone. But if you need a copy, I do have a copy if anybody's interested in it. I'd be glad to share it with you. But all it is the label of the project. They're looking at doing about 86 foot of seawall in one direction, and they're gonna square it off within a 65 foot. But again, the idea is to give boaters protection so they can actually utilize that ramp and not have to worry about which direction the wind's coming from. Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman, I can tell you, because I've used that ramp multiple times, and now east wind, you will sink your boat.
Yeah,
Period.
or slave it to the wall, because I had the same problem. I was trying to drive the boat on the trailer, and I was like trying to like really navigate real hard because the wind was pushing me to the wall. And here I am trying to get a boat on the trailer. It's very difficult. Yeah.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Are we gonna have a year-end meeting on the, at the end of the year to pay all the bills, or are you gonna do it?
You know,
I forgot about
that's a good question.
We're gonna have to have one, I'm sure. We always do.
Well, the good thing is your first meeting in October is October 1st.
Right.
So
You
gotta do it before the end of that year.
I know, the last working day of the year is when they try to do
I
it.
try to keep y'all.
Yeah, I forgot all about, let me check with Linda, the clerk's office, and
Well,
see what she's
So
saying.
September 30th is already taken.
Yeah,
That's the workshop day.
I know.
Do something earlier than that.
Let me get with the clerk's office and get back to the board
We
and
can
see.
do it earlier that day if you want
We can
to.
do it earlier.
Yeah.
Not in the evening.
Yeah.
It would be.
What did we do last year? I thought we did something where we,
Well, last year, I think we had the benefit of actually having our board meeting the same day that, you know what I mean, something like
yeah,
that.
I'll check with the clerk's office and get back to the board.
Okay. Anyone else? Commissioner comments? Meeting